Great kills from Body. Simple's got to get aggressive to get out of the crossfire. Oh, 2 stunning headshots. Another heroic performance. But Simple did it. He turned the round in NaVi's favor. And a cheeky grin on his face.
And that, if you're new to Counter-Strike, if this is the first page you're watching, is why Simple is hyped up so much. He can turn rounds in the blink of an eye. Unbelievable deagle work. And right now, the tables will turn. Now it's G2's opportunity to feel the financial downturn. They're into pistols. They're into a force buy of their own.
That hurts so much for G2. With just the deagle. Simple, the best player of 2018, hands down. He's had a year that it's going to take a long time for anyone to repeat. Unless it's him again. Here we go. Force buy from G2. They're the ones on the pistol, but they got plenty of utility as well. This time, close up in halls. As the counter smoke come out. NaVi's content to let them have this position. They might regret that. Electronic about to get firebombed out. Here comes a flashbang. He puts that out. Now he peeks out. Not blind whatsoever.
It is still going to mess with his vision, though, because he's stuck in that smoke, has found a gap through the wall, and is able to claim 1 kill. It's gone well for NaVi. They've repelled this push for the time being. And barring some miracle play from Body, this round should be done. Zeus is low on HP, though, and an Orc has now switched hands. Body does have Kevlar and 88 health. Maybe I've sold him a little bit short here. This could get sketchy for G2. In a few moments to make that NaVi, the Simple's gone down to the hands of Body. And keep in mind that Zeus is still stuck on the site with such low HP. Trajectory of that Molotov will allow Body to know where Zeus is, but the flashbang and spray on point. NaVi dodge more bullets.
Really nice job by Electronic staying alive and working his way around that broken wall. It puts the Molotov out, and actually even pushing out of the broken wall, he keeps that AUG from falling in the hands of Body for just a little bit longer, so it gives a chance for NaVi to kind of take a breath and establish themselves. 3-1 for NaVi, and G2 just cannot buy in this round.
A hold from Zeus. Stacked up there on ADR. Of course, we are only into round 5, so not to get too carried away just yet. Early grenades tossed down. Only 1 HP lost from Lucky, but there is Simple. Supreme confidence in his own ability, as you'd expect. And against just pistols and P250s, at the end of the day, there's not much G2 can do about this.
He's trying to stat pad here in this round. Overextending a little bit, but when it's Simple, you let it go. He gets shut down by Jax. Good job with the Glock. You won't see that every day. Electronic gonna turn the corner, and he's almost taken out as well. But NaVi are handling this. 4 players still alive, so not a whole lot of damage done by G2. They would like at least 1 more kill. Shocks could find it with the P250. Important to say as well, as much as we're talking about Simple as the best player in the world, if you are new to Counter-Strike, have only watched it in the past couple of years, Shocks and Kenny S on the G2 side have taken turns at various parts throughout the history of also being considered the best player in the world, and they can do magnificent things as well. And that's another thing to keep your eye out for NaVi. If Simple is overextending like that, if it happens in the gun runs, if you have the individuals of NaVi trying to do too much, that can be punished as well.
Yeah, that freeing feeling that we were talking about, if they know that their time is pretty narrow, can also backfire. You can get too overconfident, you can extend way too much, and G2 will capitalize on that. I do feel that Simple probably will rein it in a little bit more now that there's rifles in play, but look at this play right now. Edward is on A by himself, a 4-player stack on B early on. Now Electronic starts to move away, and the perfect counteractive play. G2 are pushing aggressively. NaVi are completely caught out of position, but they're going to start to slow down. It looks like NaVi will get away with that early stack.
That's a really cool counter reaction from G2 to get up mid very, very fast. But as you said, the Molotov in lane slowed them down in a big way. They didn't go up rap side. They're coming in late. Zeus listening in the smoke. Simple spamming. Electronic's going to get one with the AUG. That's the bomb down as well. Shocks is exposed, and Lucky is there to shut down Zeus. Just 1 kill. A 3-on-4. But can they actually break into the bomb site? This is going to have to be a coordinated pinch.
Oh, Electronics will be disappointed he didn't get the better of Lucky there. Did knock him down to 2, and the bomb's gone out once again. Jax and Kenny S remain. Kenny's gonna thread the eye of the needle, lands the headshot onto Edward, but Simple still has that bomb right ahead of him. Gonna be a nightmare for G2 to contend with this, but they flashed him out, and there's the headshot from Jax. This round isn't done just yet. It's coming down to the bitter end. Just 2 players remain, 1 on each side. Oh. And there's Kenny with the headshot. G2 somehow, someway get that round.
What a grinding round. You're exactly right. I thought the bomb dropping on Rap side would just be a nightmare for G2 to go get it. Props to Jax. First he takes out Simple and Library, but he stands back and he just, gives his life so that Kenny can get away and into the bomb site and at least get a decent plant out of it. Best position possible for that 1 versus 1. It was a long way for them to traverse. Lucky being able to provide an entry into the bomb site as well. NaVi, 4-man stack towards B. You have to wonder if that's something they read, if that was going to be, if that's a plan, if they think G2 is going to have some kind of heavy banana presence early on. Either way, that time, it's a cool idea. It just gives up a lot of control in mid, as you could see. Still, G2 had to fight every step of the way. 4-2. Another timeout here. High fives all around for the G2 side of things.
I think relief more than anything else, because they knew they were up against it in that round. NaVi, watching back on that, will be pretty gutted they didn't convert. The bomb was out in a horrible spot pretty much from the beginning of the round. But credit to G2, they came out swinging. And the 2 players you'd expect to see at the top for ADR, Electronic and Simple, both around 120 each.
Well, Shox is at 16. Now, it won't stay there for too long. We saw in the previous map with Renegades, Shox is in-game leading, so we saw Ozza, who was in-game leading for Renegades, had a really tough time in the terrorist half as well, while he was also kind of micromanaging the team, trying to read his opponents. But you won't expect Shox to stay quiet for long. This play, they're going to run in with these smokes and flashes, and that's perfect. Zeus is going to be forced away early. Flamey's giving up his position. He's got no cover behind this pillar. They've got him pinned down, and he's trying to buy time. At a certain point, he's got to commit. But he knew it was a losing effort, and NaVi, they're not even going to go for this. All 3 players at the A bomb site are giving it up already. They're letting Zeus do what he can, just letting him die, essentially. This will be a 3rd round for G2. NaVi not even wanting to rotate over. That hit was way too fast, way too convincing. And they have no money. They wanted to keep these Augs up in their hands.
Simple, of course, 2 kills on the retreat. Gonna make it that much more taxing for G2, and their economy's not in great shape either. They can't afford to lose too many more weapons out of this.
Simple's going to be one of those players where when you put the AUG in his hands, it's really going to be tough to watch in a way.
Especially as he's a guy that can rifle and AWP, and the AUG is like this weird middle ground, right? So if anything, just place it. This is like the Simple meta.
Yep, it's going to be pretty disgusting. 4-3, that lead is narrowed to just 1 round. AWP is going to be out for Kenny S. Yeah, he's loving it. A couple of exit frags is going to limit the economy growth for G2, but not in any kind of a big way, not in any kind of worrisome fashion. With those AUGs saved by NaVi on the defense, they do buy up around them. Electronic on the 5-7, Zeus on the UMP once again, and Flamey with the FAMAS. G2 has started the rounds on this T side out very, very fast, getting aggressive. We've seen it towards mid. We saw a contact play towards B in the previous round. Now all of a sudden opening kills in Hall. That's a spam from Body, who jumped up in towards the window, and even Kenny S was able to get a leg shot onto Zeus, jumping back and forth towards B.
Yeah, this is a terrible start for NaVi, just after they're trying to somehow remedy and salvage this half. It started so well for them. And credit to G2, they're keeping NaVi on their tiptoes. These hyper-aggressive rounds now, NaVi have to respect this. They're going to end up expending a lot more grenades to stop the counteractive pushes.
And what this done is eventually when G2, you imagine they're not going to do it every single round, that they will slow down the pace at some point, but it'll keep NaVi really, really nervous about the fast plays and maybe expend just a little bit extra utility early on to make things easier in the later stages of the rounds going forward. And this could be a disaster for the Frenchman. NaVi taking a gamble with limited utility, limited weaponry, a 4-man stack towards this B-bomb site, and G2 has rotated right back into it.
Oh, no one's going to check sandbags. Flamey could be in for a hat-trick of kills, but it's just 1. Body's been wrecked in the process. Here comes Simple. Almost caught between 2 mines. Still does a chunk of damage to Kenny. And at this stage, they may not realize there's more players over here on B. Step up, Edward. Bomb has been dropped. What a call by NaVi. The gamble pays off.
You have to admire that call. Because even if G2 is able to hit the A bomb site, they just save the weapons, and essentially they have another buy round. They have all the weapons that they had previously bought, except they can get utility behind it as well, but it works out perfectly.
it makes sense too, because they only had 2 smokes left. So it's a case like, can we realistically stall this push anyway? Even if we do play 2-2 sort of setup.
Especially with the FAMAS, the UMP as well, the weapons that can't really fight. Zeus was legged. And you could see he was the last one in. They actually shifted him out to CT spawn to watch the flank, to watch for any kind of a B split, so his HP wasn't even a factor in that main fight. Great round tactically from NaVi. And it's G2 who are forced onto the pistols in this round. The 1 Deagle on Jax. 3 CZs.
Kenny dipping into his life savings though, just $150 left. Everyone else can buy in the next round.
That might be a blessing in disguise, Vince, because we know the op can be so tough on the T side. We know Kenny S is one of the best oppers in the world and has been for many years, but you know, if you can't afford one, it's not the worst thing in the world. We saw him hit some nice AK shots previously.
Simple allowing the first player to cross, looking for the second. Doesn't get that, but they actually push into him through the Molotov. And Simple with the USP will not let them pass. He does get dropped to 7 HP, but it's all on Jax. They're not going to be able to make the most of this. At least you think not. And Edward, long range, going to get the better of Jax. Just what the doctor ordered for NaVi, a flawless round.
Yeah, Simple was loving the fact that he had a perfect fight body. He just lets him run through the flames, lets him sit there and take some extra damage. Looking much better for NaVi now, and they're even going to switch into a double op setup. We saw it on Simple. Flamey's going to have one as well. 3 AUGs in between it. And another timeout.
So what do you think the play for G2 at this stage? I mean, they've gone for all these super aggressive plays.
Yeah.
Is this where they start to slow it down a bit? Or do they just go with what's been working?
I think they're going to have to, because while they were doing those fast plays, NaVi had yet to really kind of establish the safety net of their money. Now they have Molotovs, they have smokes, they have HE grenades, so you're going to start taking a lot of damage if you're aggressive in the choke points early on. The double op setup is going to be very difficult, and if you're too fast and not putting flashbangs in the right place, those ops are going to chew you apart. This round, though, this might be fast. 2 MAC-10s, a half buy for G2. They haven't fully invested. Simple wants to get aggressive around the corner, misses that initial shot, but it's okay. He's got plenty of information. Nade chunks down Jax as well. Oh, this could be tough, though. Waterfall out the halls, perhaps, in the cards. The MAC-10s, the mobility, and one of the ops is at this A bomb site as well.
They do have electronic there though, but he's moved forward. He's no longer in the pit. He's going to try and take the fight. This could be brutal timing for him though. Edward's going to hold on just about with 2 kills, 2 very impactful frags. And now that electronics made a move through the smoke, he's going to pounce with 2, looking for a third, can't get it done. A lot of damage has been inflicted, and it's a 1-on-1. Flamey going to have to make the long traversal move from B through on the A side. Kenny's not been able to get the bomb planted just yet though. Still plenty of time. Gonna smoke off towards the library side. And at this stage, from a B's perspective, he has no idea. Has Flamey rotated up mid? Has he gone through library side? Neither player really knows where the other is at this stage, but now the bomb has been faked. Flamey's not going to fall for it. Kenny just going to plant safe. This does mean he's going to have a claustrophobic hold, though, once Flamey starts to make a move in. He just has an opener. Side off at his disposal, and Kenny S with the superior firepower is going to light up Flamey, and G2 in their first round in a while. 3
kills for Kenny in that round. That's a huge performance. You could see Flamey wanted desperately to have any weapon but the AWP. So unwieldy as you enter into that bomb site, have to clear so many corners. Exactly why he's using the pistol on the entrance. That's 2 clutches now for Kenny S. 2 1-on-1s that he's had.
Goes to show how close and tight this game has been. Even with 2 clutches, G2 still trail by 2 rounds. But that is a phenomenal effort by him. Has brought the economy of NaVi to its knees. If they concede this round, they will be broke.
Yes, I mean, part of that also is the double op setup that they kind of prioritize some pre-spam through the smoke, and Flamey's gonna find him just around the edge. Lucky, massive damage that he's dealt, but couldn't find the completion of the frag. Shocks now to lead the way. Flamey and Zeus perhaps feeling a little bit nervous. They did have to deal with a pretty decisive contact play at this bomb site earlier. A lot of time for Kenny to peek into the B bomb site with that AWP, but he only had 1 shot before the smoke is going to delay things.
Posturing just outside, but Electronic a different angle again. MP9 in hand, and that smoke is just enough to force G2 back. They're not going to try their hand this time around.
Electronic is one of the best players we have in the game of Counter-Strike at guarding pit as well, and you saw him in the previous round using his, mobility, really positioning himself well in a hectic hit, was able to catch a bunch of players off guard, disappearing into the balcony smoke. It is going to be towards this B bomb site though. Flamey with his low HP is boosted up. Unfortunately, it's going to be tough. Zeus is going to get caught on the other side of the smoke. If they do end up putting one on this choke point, he's going to have to transition into the bomb site. Doesn't want two players to be caught outside of the site.
There's a slight gap in that smoke as well. G2 now going to start to push their authority down. No one checks the boost, but they do. Last tick of that flashbang. If Flamey was unblind, that would have been a whole different ball game. Simple back to the wall, going to come out swinging with the first, looking to secure the bomb site. 8 seconds to go. There's not going to be enough time for Kenny to get on the site. Can do a bit of damage on his way out, but this round is going the way of NaVi. They're going to lead 7-4.
That looked like it was going to be a beautiful hit from G2. I mean, the first good thing that happens for NaVi is that they are able to cheat Simple over just in the right moment. So him and Zeus actually get into the bomb site to hold on while Flamey's boosted up. The second very weird thing is G2 calls a strategy where they have two players wrapping through ruins and construction, and then they throw a Molotov behind the coffin. So the players that are actually rotating in that fashion, Simple feels a little bit comfortable. They have to swing behind that Molotov. I think it did find a little bit of safety in it, but Simple was probably really curious knowing there were players wrapping from G2, and then they throw a Molotov right where they want to wrap into. It really limited how those players could take that fight. And all that with just 10 seconds on the clock, so little bit of mistake on the utility from G2.
G2 know that NaVi, though, still struggling financially. They are there for the taking. This round could be another fulcrum point on this first half. G2 going to go force in. It's not going to be a great buy, but plenty of utility, plenty of pistols. And they do have an AK on Lucky and an AWP in the hands of Kenny S. This round could be everything for this half.
Yeah, neither of these teams have wanted to sit around out. NaVi has made those gamble stack decisions so they can keep as many guns in play as possible, as many buys on the CT side as possible. G2 as well buying up into a lot of risky situations, relying on Kenny S with the AWP perhaps. Pretty typical banana take, but what's not typical about it is that G2 has 5 players here. NaVi was reading the situation. Simple, Zeus, and Flamey all stick around to defend. In G2 feel the need to readjust.
The problem is that Inferno is one of the most taxing maps for the AWPer, so relying on Kenny S to deliver some entries or just lock it down with the AWP is going to be an even more stressful situation for him. You have to feel that Body's probably going to have to do work with this AK-47 too. If they can get weapons across from NaVi, though, everybody has armor, so this could spiral out of control for NaVi. They've given up map control through mid. But again, with players like Electronic and Pit, that's only half the battle. G2 still have their work cut out for them. Boosting up Kenny to peek into Pit, but there's Edward from the side, able to get 2, nearly a third onto Jax, and that could be the moment. Zeus gonna make sure that Banana's no longer an issue. And G2 are forced into a bit of a horrible position here, making a move through the arch side. Getting across to the side at this stage is an absolute nightmare, and Simple is going to punish Lucky. It's all on Jax. Has no idea where the remainders of NaVi are, one of which is going to be Flamey making a move through library side, 15 seconds, and in the back of Jax's mind, he just wants to save this AWP, but he's going to get denied. NaVi, hold on.
Simple picks up that AWP right at the end as well. 8-4 in the favor of NaVi. This is great from Edward, just straight up fights, and part of the reason why he's able to do that, we mentioned G2 in kind of a force buy limbo in that previous round, not wanting to give the round up, just didn't have the utility, didn't have the Molotov to force him out and watch for that kind of a peak. 13 kills for Simple, 13 kills for Edward. It's Kenny S leading the way for G2 at 10. And a mid push coming in from NaVi. Simple providing great cover for Electronic, who's gotten a position at bench.
Again, reading the lack of armory, an arsenal for G2. Electronic whips out of the USB, and it's going to be the deadly duo once again, enforcing their will on G2, not allowing them a chance to have anything to talk about in this round, just bulldozing them.
It'll be a 9th round for NaVi. looking to grab complete control of this match. Zeus is going to find that frag on body at the end. We'll have a chance to see what G2 has decided to pull out for one of these last 2 rounds. They've really struggled to get momentum going. They have 4 rounds in the half, but they haven't really been able to string a whole lot together. They just had that one little pocket in the middle of this half where they won 2 in a row. Since then, it's been 5 of the last 6 going in the favor of NaVi. G2 really unable to find a winning recipe throughout this half. Kenny S with the AWP again. AKs, they have decent utility. Here we go. Shock's gonna come right through this smoke, and nobody's blind. He does find 1 kill, but Lucky has taken so much damage trying to follow up. Not exactly a net gain for the French side.
Especially when you consider how little utility they have. It's not as if NaVi are spent on all their grenades. They got plenty left. They can stall this out for a good 30, 40 seconds at least. Lucky being on 6 HP and with the smoke in his hands, they may feel pressured to get rid of this as soon as possible. Now I'm going to start to make inroads over on the A side of the map, courtesy of Jax, but... or body, pardon me. Going to be smoking off archers while the rest of G2 look to make a move. The whole purpose of this is to try and draw away one of the CTs before they do hit B. I think Zeus was entertaining the idea of it, but now he has locked it back down on B again alongside Flamey.
So tough though. Kenny's gonna have to be pretty aggressive with this AWP. Lucky with very low health cannot afford to be the initial contact, cannot afford to go in with the opening group. Here we go. Flamey's boosted up. It took him a while to clear this out. It's gonna get pre-fired this time. Zeus still waiting. Just wants to stay alive. Doesn't even want to fight for it. Even he's getting spammed though, and somehow he dodges all of it.
Well, goes in just afterwards before the rest of his team really had a chance to get even close.
Electronic did throw a pop flash for him. Obviously did not work out the way it was intended, and from here, NaVi gonna keep these weapons alive. The op in simple, Electronic with an AUG. They'll be able to drop weapons if needed, but I don't think it will. Edward, Zeus, and Flamey, the players that have fallen, have plenty of money. But G2 gonna get up to 5, and that feels much, much better.
I think NaVi also looking to try and constrict the economy of G2. They're both in exit points. Now, I was about to say Simple's got banana control, but Kenny S does come out with the AWP shot. Because their economy isn't too good here either, G2. If Simple could have maybe done a bit of damage on the way out, maybe a bit of a lack of a buy coming through into the last round of the half, but...
any little bit, right? If you take a Molotov, a smoke, a flashbang away, it all counts. G2, though, all things considered, despite some of the struggles they've had in this half, I mean, they've put together a pretty solid performance. Had a chance to get 6 rounds. That would be beautiful. Yeah, this is a banger of a tune.
Building up the tension for the last round of the half. It could be such an important one at that.
Not tension, it's building up a dance party.
Lining up the potential nade, and here comes Jax. A similar position to where Shox ran into the round prior. It didn't work out for him, but the flashes and nades are going to be on point. Jax not able to double up with a second. Zeus is going to repel that, moves into the smoke, but he was always going to be out in position in that stage. Decides to back away into the arms of Shox. This is such a strange round from NaVi. Super aggressive round from G2. Is going to yield a 3-on-2 advantage, and now all the pressure on Electronic. He's about to get forced by remaining G2 players.
Yeah, but he slowed him down. Smoke in lane is going to make them a little bit cautious. There's a massive gap in that, though. What kind of an angle can Electronic find? Simple, he calls Simple back to the B bomb site, and they think maybe Electronic thinks that smoke that he threw in lane has done just enough to force G2 away, but it hasn't. They've just slowed their take, but it's going to be a free bomb site. Shox has the bomb in pit. Oh, there's an appearance in library. Kenny S down so low, but now he's got the angle, so no more peeking for Electronic. He's got to wait for Simple to come in. The bomb is going to go down any moment. It's a 2-on-3. In the last round, they must go for it.
2 players very low. There is a kit and a Molotov. This in the realms of possibility. Kenny is going to try and shut it down before it can gather any kind of momentum or steam. But decides better of his angle. The Shox will go for the peak. He had a slow start, but he's warming up just when it counts, leaving Simple. 1-on-3 with the AK, and Kenny S will greet him. 9-6. Decent little comeback towards the end from G2.
A phenomenal comeback, and they've looked good, trying a lot of things in their T side. They get 6 rounds to the night of NaVi, and we'll see how this one concludes after the break.
Kill, 2 very impactful frags, another electronics.
NaVi up 9-6 going into the second half, and it wasn't just an individual effort. They've got 4 players within just 3 frags of each other, all across the team. It was solid, it was impressive, but G2 as well. A different G2 than we saw start the challenger stage. They clawed just enough rounds out of that T side, out of their offensive half, to make this a tough one down the stretch.
This is where it gets dangerous though for G2. If they can't get a grasp of their economy early on, NaVi could just run away with this. And they'd be wise to take a bit of a leaf out of the Renegades and Ents book. It was 5-10 and Renegades bounced back from that deficit. This pistol, it could be the leapfrog that NaVi need to move towards the finish line.
When you think of that half as well, I mean, that could have started out so much better for G2. That could have been a great T-side. That could have been them going into this half with a lead. The pistol round was in their favor, and they lost it to a great play from Edward. They won the second round, and the third round as well. They got dropped by phenomenal individual effort from Simple, the 2 1-digs that he had at the A bomb site. So actually, G2 could have had a much, much better half. They looked good on the offensive side of Inferno, and now we're just going to have to see them set up a very nice, as you said, a really good performance on this defensive side. I think they've done a really nice job, all things considered, of limiting the impact of individual heroics from guys like Simple, guys like Electronic. Flamey had a really tough first half, but still finding themselves in a pretty narrow deficit, just 3 rounds.
We've had the big moment plays from like Electronic, from Pit. Simple's had that double deagle, highlight reel worthy couple of shots, but G2 haven't been completely out of this. You know, Kenny's had some pretty nice opping of his own on the T side, so CT side you think this is really going to be his half.
This is where Kenny S, I mean, the CT side of Inferno, there have been some pretty legendary oppers over the years who have worked wonders on the CT side of Inferno, and one of them has been Kenny. He is so dangerous on this because it is deceptively like a very, like, oppers can have so much freedom. While they have such a tough side on the T side where they're really, really restricted, the CT side is pretty much everywhere they go. They can be effective with the AWP at finding opening kills, you know, trading kills, limiting the amount of success that the terrorist can have upon hitting that part of the map. You can put him at the B bomb site, A halls. He can get aggressive in halls. He can peek down mid. Can be very, very deadly. And if NaVi can't get a hold of him, if they can't limit the amount of rounds he plays with the op, this could be really, really tough half for them.
I mean, we saw Simple do it. He walked down mid with the op a couple of rounds into second mid, very, very aggressively. As you say, it can be so versatile. They had a double op set up for a while, Simple and Flamey.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've already seen that G2 in Challenger stage, pretty much everyone on their team can actually pick up the secondary op. I've seen Jax do it, Lucky's done it. Of course, we know Shox can pick up the op as well. So there is some versatility in this G2 lineup.
I would like to see them keep the op out of Shox's hands.
I agree. He's much better with rifle.
I'd like to see him with a rifle.
Yeah.
But as well, I mean, he kind of picked it up down the end. Remember, he had a tough start to this game. He was limited on his impacts. But, you know, towards the end, those last 2 rounds of their T side, he found some great kills down the stretch. He's sitting at 6 frags, so is Lucky. Jax is at 7. It's Kenny S and Body at 12 and 11 who lead the way for G2. You'd expect all of those frag counts to rise on this half of the map.
Sure. I mean, at one stage he was 3 and 10, so yeah, he's already started to make a move in the right direction. But as you say, now on the CT side, don't have to play as aggressively, can get the crossfires established. This is where you're looking for G2 to really up their game. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, second half of this second best of 1 between NaVi and G2 is getting live. NaVi on the T side, and again G2 getting a whole bunch of utility. Jax with a nade to boot. And he's the player that's on B at the moment, so maybe just stalling this off for a little while until he gets some information. If they're going to try and wrap on B, that's where you expect the grenade to be tossed in and potentially do a bunch of damage.
Yeah, nade just to soften him up if he notices him at a choke point. Simple takes a bit of damage. He was dropped over a P250. He can be pretty deadly from long range, so G2 has to be careful. Flamey in the halls, all alone. There's Jax with a good shot, but Flamey's found the kill on the Body as he clears things out. Lucky is pretty committed in this position. If Flamey had swung, that would have been really dangerous. And NaVi, with that pick towards the A bomb site, are going to rotate over. But G2 wants to find some information. A peek down mid, completely blind, can't convert the kill. And now from Boiler, he's going to get pounced upon. You can only take that peek for so long before NaVi is going to react, and it looks like G2 on the back foot in their pistol.
You probably need Kenny to be more aggressive watching Boiler if you're going to peek down mid. You know, he's pretty stalled, a bit stagnant in its approach. And G2 are going to wrap around Shox towards the B side, but he's effectively the sweeper role at this stage, just going back and forward through Speedway. NaVi haven't fully committed yet to either side. They haven't really shown their hand, even though there's 25 seconds left. And I don't like the setup from G2. They need to do what NaVi did and just gamble and stack a bomb site and hope it's the correct one, because your defense is spread way too thin. Kenny against 5 needs some immediate headshots, and he gets the damage, but not the frag. And Shox has got to wrap around mid, and this pistol round is all but over, especially now when that goosh comes out. Shox forced away. Jax, don't even go for it. Shox wants to save the kit. Jax is going to go down. Unfortunate nade as well, bounced on the wrong side of the box. It would have claimed Simple's life if it was just a little bit higher.
You could see G2 just never had any idea what was coming. Obviously that first kill that Flamey has in the halls is huge. But from there, the flashbang in towards mid to peek down. When that player goes down, G2 has to play so passive because you cannot afford to just bleed any more players away. If what G2 could have done there, that might have been a little bit different. They had Shox kind of playing rotator between both of the bomb sites. You either put him at the A bomb site and have him just kind of stack it, or you put him over towards B and have those players just get aggressive and walk down B. So you either have a very quick flank at A, or they find the contact and you at least have 2 players there to see maybe if they can pull something off.
Well, G2 are going to have to put that pistol to the back of their minds, because in the here and now they're in a force buy. It's not completely all guns blazing in terms of finances. They still have a bit in the reserve. They do have enough pistols and nades to make this interesting if NaVi overstep the mark. And it's going to be Electronic going in first with his Mac 10, looking for information, trying to scout out the place. Shock's going to be smoked out of position, but Lucky will be pretty much untouched at the back of the side. So he's going to throw in a smoke to just stall the push a little while longer. Electronic hasn't read the memo, though. He's potentially looking for a boost up.
There's a little bit of gap in that smoke on that side. When he jumps up, he might be able to see over it. At least be quicker coming through. NaVi have at least accomplished making these defenders nervous. They've forced out some utility. There's Electronic to back away even farther. But NaVi's happy with that. They are so completely fine. And Kenny S on G2 side rotating towards B, saying they know that 2 smokes have been used at this bomb site. They'll probably want to hit when it fades. He does have a smoke of his own, and actually, that can be the spanner in the works.
Need some magic from Shocks, and he is the first to deliver. Headshots delivered left and right. Shocks finally going to go down alongside Kenny S, and that was their win condition. That was their chance, the crossfire with the Desert Eagles. As it stands now, Jax and Body smoked out, going to be moving from 2 very separate angles, and Jax has been found by Flamey, leaving Body last man standing. For how much longer is up to NaVi to decide, and the decision has been made by Simple. 11-6 now to NaVi.
That's actually a really nice try from G2. They did everything right in that scenario. The first 2 kills as well, but G2 is still able to just crack open the door. 11-6, and with investment in that round, G2 cannot have any here. They do buy up some pistols. They have a nade stack, all 5 players with an HE. You imagine they toss that into a choke point, maybe down mid, maybe down banana. See if you can soften anyone up, maybe get lucky with a couple kills. Shocks Lucky and Kenny S throw their nades. No kills, decent damage onto Electronic, down to 44.
And the worrying sign for a lot of other teams right now is that it's not necessarily just the Simple show. I mean, Edward's been pulling his weight. He's been landing some pretty nice frags. He's up on 17 kills as well. 8 deaths, 104 ADR, a player that's going to certainly turn a few heads. I mean, if you go back long enough, he was actually quite a beast. But it's been a while since that were the case.
Yes, it has been, unfortunately. Either way, NaVi's found an open bomb site at B. Electronics all the way through. Zeus is clearing out the corners. So this is going to be a 12th round for NaVi, and G2, no more time to waste. They have to get started immediately.
Simple, of course, stalling the bomb plant to allow his teammates to get closer to A side. They don't want to let anyone survive. They've got SMGs in play in the hands of Electronic. May as well try and farm some money, and he's found some prey as he sprays from behind. Body and Jax have been slumped alongside any hope for G2. NaVi will take a 12-6 lead. It's just a matter of how many more kills can they farm, really.
Yeah, they're just trying to get bonus money. You can see Electronic half HP passes the SMG over to Zeus. Flamey's found one with the AK-47. They don't have to do this, but they really, really want the bonus money. I don't even think they got any extra. It was kills with the AK-47s. Zeus got one with the nade, so just Flamey was able to benefit from that. Excuse me, Electronic, I think, with the double kill, yep. 12-6. The AWP is out in Kenny S's hands. And they would love to have him start this out with the AWP. Just get on a heater and just ride that to the end. Ride that into a comeback. They must have him deliver immediately. Electronic with the SG-553.
They're going to go for the peek down banana, but instantly Lucky's been found. Electronic's going to claim. Kenny S does bounce back with one of his own. And Shocks is somewhat isolated now. Going to have to rely on his teammate. No one checks sandbags. And Body's able to double up with 2 of his own. Bit of a mistake from NaVi, could cost him dearly. Shocks nearly burns to a crisp, but still somehow alive on 7 HP before Electronic will find him out. SG in play, gonna get 2. And it is the duo that you'd want in this situation, but pretty tagged up in the process.
I think they're gonna back away, at least for the moment, or maybe just sit there and stay quiet. Electronic in that corner was able to hear Kenny S rotating through CT spawn. They know that there's a second player at this B bomb site. Here the plan for NaVi, it looks like don't make any noise. Simple's gonna go for the peek, of course he is. Forces Kenny S away, but the AWP is a new weapon at this B bomb site. Nothing they didn't necessarily know. G2 has pushed Jax out in towards alt mid, so we can watch for a fallback, but he's not close enough to be picked off. That would be the nightmare. What can NaVi do around this smoke? This is exactly where you want Kenny S. Gotta be mindful. You can see him considering the fact that they can jump through this. A boost over the top of the smoke. There's the kill from Body, saves Kenny's life, and the follow-up kill with the AWP. 7 for G2.
Actually, really cool of Kenny to relocate there. If he was on coffins, that boost would have killed him. But he moved to the right-hand side, gave him more vision, and also completely wrecked that boost entirely. Plus, he knew his teammate had it covered. Really little cool turn of events for G2, and finally on their CT half they're gonna strike gold.
That's wildly aggressive from NaVi to start that round out as well. I think that was one of those rounds where NaVi just says, let's test the waters. Let's see how exactly they want to hold Banana. Let's see how they're going to hold it early on. They had 3 players there. They saw that. They saw where the utility was used. So just a little bit of information gathering for later on in this half.
Flashbang is going to completely stop any scouting ability for G2. They're going to back away. They know how vitally important this is. Nade's going to be exchanged. I think Shox may have just caught a glimpse of Zeus, but the flashbang going to do enough to force him back. There's no avenging frag, but Electronic will get the upper hand onto Lucky. Puts a bullet between his eyes. This puts way more pressure on B than G2 are hoping for this early on in the round.
He's got no nades as well. Shox has to take a heads up fight, and it's not going to work. Kenny rotating over now, but again, the AWP stuck behind the smoke. It's so difficult, and Body and Jax aren't even rotating over. They haven't moved yet. 2 players in this B bomb site. What can Kenny S find? He would love to get one. They're being so quiet. Now he's going to hear the footsteps. Now he's going to hear the plank go down. You imagine he's going to spam to try and stop it. It's not going to work. That's when Simple peaks. That's when he pounces. And the round is over.
I feel like the call had already came in to save. It's just that Kenny S was on a one-man wrecking crew mission.
And ill-advised, perhaps, because look at the money on the right side of your screen.
Sure.
No one's going to be able to drop. And I think if you're G2, you almost have to buy in the next round. Such a disparity in the score. It's going to be 7-13.
Oh, yeah.
This is for Kenny S to start firing on all cylinders with the AWP. Losing the AWP there, I mean, that is absolutely brutal. And Kenny's had maybe 1 or 2 kills with the AWP, but nothing special. So this is quickly getting out of control now for G2. They're at least going to hold on to the AWP, courtesy of Body getting a kill, but this is where it really catches up with them.
Vince, it's already out of control for G2. The question is, can they rein it back in? This is going to be a tough call for them to make. Body and Lucky sitting right around $1,800. There's not a whole lot they can invest. They do have, Body still has the AUG. Dropping what weapons they can, so G2 has scraped together a buy. It's not ideal. 2 SMGs and a FAMAS on Kenny, only 2 kits across the board. Pretty good utility though, all things considered. And NaVi seems to really be loving the fact that G2 wants to play an aggressive defense at car. They found Shox this time. Previously they had found Lucky.
Certainly feels telegraphed at this stage, trying to get banana control early on. NaVi will acquire another kill, acquire a bunch of real estate. There is a stack on the side. Firing squad has been established. But with the pick, it would stand to reason that NaVi would expect a rotation from at least one of the A players. So now they're starting to make a move on A. It would ultimately be a 2-on-4 if they decide to pull the trigger and go for this. This is going to be a very difficult hold if NaVi do press forward with the A hit.
Remember, in a similar situation in the first half, NaVi chose to stack a bomb site with all 4 players at the B site, and they were correct. Jax goes hunting for information, a great find on towards Flamey. At least thinning the herd, but there's so much of this map is available to NaVi. Zeus and Electronic have just walked in towards CT Arch. No one sees it. Body's gonna walk right into Electronic, but he's prepared. He's ready for the fight, still loses it. And now, the remaining G2 defenders all on their lone sim, 1 at each bomb site. Jack's gonna get taken down. That's the A bomb site, free to take for NaVi. It's gonna be a 14th and no money for G2.
And ironically, even though Jack's got a kill and it was a really solid scouting mission, by doing that, it almost tells NaVi there's probably 2 players on A. You don't typically go for a play like that if you have 3 players on A. You feel confident, you feel compelled to just stay in position.
Certainly they didn't have enough eyes to spread across that bomb site. No one watching Rap side. Getting in towards CT spawn for free is just NaVi salivating. Taking a risk and just walking in. They don't even necessarily need to hunt Lucky, but why not? You have a lot of cash. Or not a lot, but a good amount. Although these 2 players are solo, but NaVi doesn't care. Electronic gonna get dropped. They now know where he is. Simple gonna be the last one to challenge. Zeus has too low of health to fight either. They know next round is gonna be limited for G2 on what they can bring into it, so why not try and take everything away right at the end?
Try and pincer him. This smoke is pretty huge for Lucky though. Allows him to lock off one of the angles, but of course Simple is going to find him and frag him. No save weapons means that G2 have pretty much nothing.
Everything went wrong for the French side that round. 7-14, and the most money you have is on Lucky. It's 2,500, and yeah, that face kind of says it all. Nothing to be too cheerful about. I think one last time out for the G2 side as they talk over how they can recover if they want to invest here. I think if you're G2, you're too far behind to let NaVi get to 15. You really have to kind of grind some rounds away before they get there, but I don't think there's necessarily a wrong call for them to make here.
We had a lot of questions coming into this game, you know, how are NaVi going to show up? Are they living on borrowed time? I would say this performance has been pretty compelling so far, Jason. I mean, it is obviously only one map, but I've been pretty impressed.
Yes, it's been much better than I expected as well.
Sure.
I think similar to G2, the CT side hasn't looked great, but I thought the T side, I thought they put together a pretty good effort, and if a couple different rounds change, I think they have a much better first half to work on moving forward, but either way, haven't really been able to slow down this NaVi onslaught. Here we go, push down mid, try and catch NaVi off guard, no nades to signal it's coming, and Edward loves that. He loves it very, very much. 4 quick kills.
Money in the bank, ADR. Everything you can ask for. I mean, he was already doing well up until that point, so you can't even say, yeah, he got 4 kills gifted to him. So breathing down Simple's neck at this stage, and they're going to have 8 map points. This would put them at 1-0, of course. We're just starting off the group stage of the Legends.
It would also secure the fact that they will be at least in the challenger stage of the major in Berlin, which will be hosted by Starladder. Announcement came out just a couple days back.
In September, I believe.
Yes.
So you have that to look forward to as well. But G2, against the ropes, to put it politely, they are really struggling. They are submerged, gasping for air, and NaVi, foot to the throat. Do have some nades to play with. A few smokes, couple of Molotovs.
Ooh, Flamey could step in front of that smoke if he wanted to. It appears a little too quick for him. Simple's found a headshot on Shocks, who was just trying to spot. Wasn't even trying to necessarily commit, but that's beautiful. Lucky's gonna love that. Not that part, as Zeus gets a trade. That's when Flamey pounces on the lurk. A classic lurk. But I think Flamey has called that they're coming down mid, so NaVi should be aware. They know that at least one is gonna come down mid. Meanwhile, Body is trying to flush Flamey out, but they have just exchanged places, and Flamey now has the information. He can just go over to the B bomb site. It's a 1-on-3 here for Kenny, and he has to go. A kit is not an option. It's got to be a full 10-second defuse, so Kenny's got to find them all. That's going to be it. Navi's going to take this Inferno against G2. It's going to be 16-7.
Yeah, Body shooting across there just gave NaVi all the information they needed. Sure, he's got the first kill. They're heavily tagged in the process. And there we have it. Edward puts the final nail in the coffin. And NaVi steamroll to a 1-0 win.
Not as much limping from NaVi as we might have thought, as perhaps G2 was hoping. They looked much more solid than I think a lot of people expected. Solid individual performances, 22 on Edward, 22 on Electronic. And NaVi is going to go 1-0, G2 falls to 0-1, and we're going to send it off to our friends at the desk.
Thank you so very much. Yes, that was Moses and Vince. They'll be casting much more for you across the next couple of games. Nice to crank up that volume so I can hear the dulcet tones of my own voice. This is another big win for NaVi. We had a doubter on the desk, in fact, two. To break it down, though, I do have none other than Pimp and Sponge. And it shows, once again, NaVi may be a bit discombobulated, may not have the atmosphere that they desire for trophy lifting, but managed to best G2 rather comfortably, Jacob.
Yeah, it was a comfortable win for NaVi. I think, once again, you know, it's not necessarily NaVi playing too well. I think they just have the individuals to deal with G2. So far, what we've seen from G2 in the first stage of the major as well was that they were able to win Dust 2. They were able to play decent on Cash, and Overpass was all right as well.
Sure.
Inferno's not going to be one of the maps they're going to win at all against any of the teams in this tournament. What I saw right here was not good at all for G2, and I think NaVi, despite playing okay, it was not a very, it was not a win that gives me confidence in them going up against some of the better teams.
Well, look, for me, G2 on their T side is where they got the lion's share of their rounds, and that was through set pieces, right? So that's one thing that they had, strategically speaking, from an execute dry round point of view. G2 showed a lot more in this game than NaVi did. NaVi started out very dynamic on their CT side. It appears they've shifted Zeus over towards that B bomb site with Flamey. Simple was basically doing whatever he wanted in a lot of rounds. He had that round where he pushed down to old mid. Sure, he got taken down by a Glock, but it just feels like this is Simple's team and he can get away with whatever he wants. And that's, I wouldn't have it any other way, to be completely honest with you. And you have to remember as well, in that first half, a lot of the rounds were very close, Alex. Kenny had to win 2 1vx situation. I think they're both 1v2s, actually.
Yeah, he was truly a hero and getting some more rounds on the board for G2, but it was indeed Simple and co. Edward alongside him at the top of the scoreboard. We're going to check in with Simple now. Frankie is in the player floor.
Yes, now, Simple, it was a signature aggressive NaVi performance. Do you think that G2 put up a good fight?
Not really, actually. I don't know, we just prepared really well for them. And yeah, we were ready for this game.
You say you prepared really well, but the rumor is you guys didn't boot camp.
We couldn't do boot camp because of some stuff and because of because of a lot of things, yeah, but we still had a really good practice online. It doesn't matter what people gonna say, we're still upgrading our map pool and our game every day.
What are people saying?
I don't know what people saying. People say always something random, I don't know. They have some ideas what to do with team, they know better than us, I guess.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to find out for you later this week, Simple. The thing for me is, though, it's surprising you didn't boot camp because you guys have never won a major. How confident do you feel after that performance?
I think all of us have more experience right now and we're just going to be more prepared for more important games.
More important games indeed. Okay, I'll let you guys pack up and we might see you on this stage later today, Simple.
Yeah, of course.
Let's head back to the desk.
Frankie digging for answers there, and she certainly gets some. An intriguing reaction just from Simple, noting that he is well aware of where the community rumour mill has taken NaVi and put them in their sights. Whether or not that's true, well, the gameplay will do a lot of the talking for us. But let's get our closing thoughts here. Both teams are ones that players don't necessarily rate too highly, as we saw from the players' ranking. What do we reckon here then? NaVi picking up 1 win. You don't seem convinced just yet for what's to come.
At the very least, NaVi will be part of the next major. I think that's the conclusion we make now. G2 obviously, again, not looking too solid, but they may just be slow starters in a tournament like this, and the level may be a little bit too high. I think NaVi, all right, you know, you got the first win. They can play with no pressure now, so I'm not ruling them out. All I'm saying is that when they face a team like Liquid or Astralis, we're going to see the true face of NaVi.
Yeah, a true test, as they have already managed to best G2. We're going to take a break. NRG Nip is going to be coming up after it. We'll see if they can continue to be undefeated or if the Ninjas will have something to say about it.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
That's right, the lovely city of Katowice, home to the Intel Extreme Masters and what is the major here, live and direct. My name is Trey, son of Saranthus. I'll be resuming, though, the position here of Mr. Richardson. He will be taking a little bit of a break, but first I need to go ahead and tell you about how our day has shaped up. It's been quite a bit of Counter-Strike coming your way, and certainly there have been some surprises along the way, as well as some teams that, well, I don't think anyone gave any credit to come out on top. But in this instance, we do have an entirely new matchup. That's right, it's going to be NRG versus the Ninjas in Pajamas, and perhaps we just kick this off with a deeper look at Team NRG.
The last major, we were really close. We played a lot of good opponents. If we would have qualified, we would have been really, really happy. I think we played really good CS overall. We want to play as good opponents as possible, because I feel like everyone wants to prove that we're a good team and not just qualifying based on playing some lesser good teams and making it far, but playing the best teams in the world just to win it is our main goal. Our map pool was a bit bad, I think. We had some like 1 or 2 strong maps that we played, but had to struggle in the Vita. But I think right now we're pretty strong in our map pool, so I don't think we have to fear any team right now when we can use the map Vita pretty well. This major means a lot to me, especially last time. We had strong feelings from qualifying to the major, and now our next goal has been to stay here, and I think it's big for the organization and the team to come to the major, and we really want to grab a legend spot. After that, when we make it there, then it's going to be to win the major, of course, but step by step for me, first playoffs and then aiming for the trophy.
Yes, and the Ninjas of Pajamas here have not had the easiest of roads up to this point, but they are here nonetheless, and taking on NRG will be their opponent here. Now, I can't even begin to start what is the pre-match of this segment without introducing those to my right. We do have that of Jacob Vinicky and Sean Gers joining me now. Also some fresh faces and also ready to dive into the Counter-Strike, and ultimately the simulation continues.
Indeed it does continue, Trace, and something that PETA said, I believe, was that they're not afraid of their map pool, but I don't know, their map pool looked a little bit dicey in that last stage. We only really saw them perform on Train and Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sold on that idea from NIP being strong in their own map pool. I'm the kind of guy who likes to manage my own expectations, and for NIP, I think the first goal for them should be to just win one match. Similar. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long road here for NIP through the main qualifier. I mean, we could just talk about some of those numbers, but in all reality, the only convincing win they really had was early on versus Furia, and that was a 16-6. So, I mean, after that, things really did have to kind of come together in a motion for them to succeed. Taking a look, though, at the players on either side of this, we've talked about the Ninjas of Pajamas, talked about NRG Esports, and well, as both of them do look to take a seat, NRG being the complete opposite, having barreled through the brackets with certain ease, I say.
Yeah, and they actually super strong. So they look super strong during the minor, right? They look super strong during this one. In general, it just looks like NRG's team right now that is not to be controlled.
Yeah, and in fact, they actually had the 2 highest performers in the last stage in Breezy and Ethan. Breezy was the top performer by a large margin, and surely that has to do with, you know, their ridiculous performance, or his ridiculous performance against Ty Lue, but he had a phenomenal challenger stage.
Well, the challenger stage is done and said, so as well as the veto, as it's come out with a Fury. That's right, it's going to be Nuke. That will be the map that we're going to see these two teams square off on. Let's talk a little bit about where this one could go, guys. We've got just a few more seconds here, maybe lasso it in.
That's actually a huge win for NIP, in my opinion. They have historically been such a dominant team on Nuke as a map. I don't know how they managed to pull this off when they had to veto the 3 maps that they did. They had to veto Overpass, Inferno, and Cash. NRG is just such a better team, so really NRG had their picks of like where they wanted this to go amongst the other 4. They must have put in a lot of work on it.
To me, it's just a confident move from NRG. The fact that they're willing to go into Nuke, willing to start on the T side, going up against a team like NIP in a match that has this much significance to it. To me, it tells me NRG are super, super comfortable in their own map pool, in their own play. And NIP, you know, we did see them in the first stage of this major. It was not pretty by any means. They scrambled their way through. They're here now, but NRG is just a complete different beast.
Well, you want to talk about them getting comfortable, and in fact, it is just about that time. We're going to go ahead and introduce our teams onto the stage right now, where the comfort levels certainly are not where they would like it to be. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Let's hear it for your first team. Ninjas in Pajamas. They are no strangers to Katowice, having made it to the grand finals in the Spodek not once but twice. This time, they will do everything they can to take home the trophy. Fighting against NRG Esports. After barely losing out on 2 majors in a row, many teams would have made changes, but they stuck together through ups and downs. This time, all their plans worked out, and they are here on Counter-Strike's biggest stage.
Yes, that's right. They're here on the stage now, and it does look like they're trying to get in the zone that they want to find themselves in. Now, interesting storylines for both of these teams. NRG not even having qualified for the major last time around, now have gone through the brackets, at least through the minors, 7 maps, undefeated. Went through the main qualifier, that's going to be 4 maps undefeated. It's been a long road for NRG, an easier one for them rather than NIP.
Yeah, it has. NRG has impressed at every step of the way. I don't think they've dropped, like you said, a single map the entire time. On the other hand, you look at NIP, they dropped maps to the same teams that NRG was beating. They dropped a map to Windstrike. They dropped a map to Vici. These are teams that NRG was blowing out when they played them. Neither of those teams got double-digit rounds. So this is definitely an uphill battle for NIP in this matchup.
Man, on your screen right now, Breeze, he's been absolutely on fire. Him and Nathan are the 2 highest rated players for the 3rd stage of the major. That tells the story how dominant NRG were and how dominant those 2 individuals were. Now, put into the fact that you also have a guy called Zerg on that team who can step up and take over a game completely with the AVP. NRG have so many strings to play on, and I think NIP will have to play some of the best Counter-Strike we've seen them playing in a long, long time if they want to stand a chance of taking this one away.
And it's funny, you say NRG and you say the name Breeze, and the only thing that really comes to my mind is that just completely show of domination there against Tyloo. Yes, they might have 2-0'd them, but 72 and 38 for a KD. Mind you, they do have 108 ADR. He certainly took that game into his own hands, and I think he's going to have to be one of the players that steps up here for NRG to really make a strong case for them going forward here in the chat.
And would it be fair to say that he's sort of like rated as the 3rd star of the team? You have Ethan being the 2 main stars, but if your 3rd star is that good, Sean, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. He is technically, in many people's eyes, the 3rd star of this team. So for him to be able to put up numbers like that, obviously NRG is going to have a lot of success. But playing the Ninjas on Nuke, which is something I kind of talked a little bit about beforehand, that's such a different battle. These guys have such strong communication, and they do the basics very, very well, which obviously, you know, benefits you in a map like Nuke.
Yeah, and Nuke being that map, I mean, we could talk about the pick'em process of that is the vetoes, but we could actually just talk about your guys' pick'em. Where did you put NIP when it came down to all of this?
I actually left them out of advancing, Trace, but I do know that one of us actually had them as the 0-3.
Well, yeah, 0-3, this is a rough time to call it as you see it, but it is in fact time to call it as we see it. We do have NRG versus NIP. It's going to be Vince Hill and Jason O'Toole taking it away here on Nuke.
The old guard versus the new, and we're right into the action on the pistol round. Lekro's going to be the first one with contact. Hasn't been able to land the shots just yet. Rez is going to do that outside, away from the action. Breeze goes down, but the lower bomb site is under attack. Lekro has rotated down here, off angle for him, and a stunning headshot to start it out. A follow-up as well. 2 players left, and Forrest has been phenomenal in the challenger stage, looking to continue it here in the legend stage.
One of the main reasons why NIP are currently here. And there's the other one, Get Right Find Cirque. This push has been well and truly repelled at this stage. Dap's going to try and work something onto the upper bomb side. At least has the bomb under his control, so it will be a bomb plant if nothing else. But in terms of holding on to it, this is somewhere between slim and none. This would be an absolute miracle, and Get Right will not allow that to get into fruition. The Ninjas will claim first blood in this best of 1.
Yeah, that was dominant from NIP in the pistol, but at least Daps gets the plant down. The extra $100 is going to help out just a little bit, and that's actually, I mean, sitting in a 1-on-4, you could consider that a victory of sorts. Not the victory NRG would have wanted to start this game, but, you know, they're not going to be too upset about it. 1-0 for NIP. You can tell how much the times have changed with how many people believe NRG is just going to be able to win this one, doubting the Ninjas. Nuke has been a map they've always kind of held on to, as Sean kind of started to get into. It's been a map that they've been effective on through some of their mostly through their downs. This is a map they can always really rely on. Second round bye with that plant, AK-47 on Ethan, AK-47 on Breeze, and those are the two players you'd expect. I mean, these guys have been phenomenal riflers, and that's a dink with a pistol. Rez is going to have to back away, not slowly, but quickly, and they still haven't seen the AKs yet.
That's a good point. They may not realize that the AK-47s will be following through as well. They think it's just a couple of upgraded pistols, but now they've found that out. Worst possible way, Rez will lose his life to the hands of Ethan.
Interesting little, I mean, not interesting, but just to notice, the AKs were actually playing support for the pistols, using their utility to get the pistols to lead the way while the AKs backed them up, and now it's got them 2 kills, one on Ethan, one on Breezy. This force buy is working spectacularly.
Get Right's also been demolished. Nothing going the way of NIP in round 2, that's for sure, and if they could hold on, maybe do some damage on their way out, be better than nothing. But Lekra and Forest still with a mountainous task ahead of them. Bomb hasn't been planted. It's really one of the only silver linings on the very dark cloud that looms overhead. And 40 seconds to try and stop this from taking shape. Lekra, who is such a beast in the pistol round, is going to get instantly silenced courtesy of Cirque's sidearm. And now Forest is the last to fall. Doesn't even have a chance to react, just instantly dead.
They didn't even do any damage. Breezy was down at 95 HP. That's like probably from falling out of the roof or something, but that's an astounding round from NRG. And that's the thing, you know, we heard it in the voiceovers, this is a team that struggled despite having such a good year last year. They just narrowly failed to make the majors. Especially that London one was a heartbreaking fashion that they didn't qualify for. But, I mean, even in those losses, even in the tournaments that, you know, they weren't able to do well in some of the qualifiers, the conversation around this team has always been the raw skill of these players. And that trio they have, Ethan, Breezy, and Cirque, so powerful. Those guys are going to be in this scene. They're going to be deadly professionals for a long time to come.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got these guys moving out of pick'ems. I think they're going to do it pretty convincingly. In terms of today, the Ninjas have struggled to get to this stage, as they were discussing on the desk. There's a real tumultuous up and down affair in the Challenger stage. Red's going to get Molotov'd out at Secret's, going to afford more outside control across the NRG. We're making the most of it. Ethan's going to stamp a couple of headshots if he can with the AK-47, but instead they decide to push down Secret, where Rez did rejoin where he was earlier and has been dethroned once again, this time permanently in round 3.
Just one player for NIP down at the slower bomb site. Dennis can join up pretty quickly, though. Lekra with his deagle, as we've seen many times, can be a game changer. Those players for NRG, they're already down there waiting to sync up with their ramp room counterparts. Dennis with an off angle. He's already missed one crossing by, but they can't pounce quick enough to get him before he drops. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Ethan's probably frustrated. Now they know there's 2. Fugly's gonna fall as well. AK-47, he wasn't able to grab it. He wants it so bad. Too many NRG players, but Breezy can't bring the bomb just yet. He's got to hold the flank. And now they're sustaining a little bit, but still damage being done by NIP.
20 seconds, need to retrieve the bomb, get that planted as soon as possible. Landed the wrong side of ramp as far as Forest is concerned. And now with this bomb planted, an Organ and AK at their disposal, Forest without any kit, any nades, would do well to hold on to this AK-47. He must know at this stage that he's pretty much beat if he goes onto the side, as good as he is.
There's time to explore the idea of going for it, though. No kit, he would have to do it quickly. Obviously, you could see he's just hoping he can catch someone off guard, unaware. Because NRG, I mean, they're not even thinking about trying to take that gun out of his hands. They're thinking win the round. It's a dangerous scenario, and at this point, Forrest can honestly just back out. Doesn't even have to lose this weapon. Now he's got to think about saving. NRG not pouncing just yet. They are getting in position to try and prevent this escape, but it's not going to happen. Cirque and Daps back away. A second win for NRG. They're going to be up 2-1, but a pretty nice round from NIP, all things considered. Fine work with the deagle from Dennis.
The only downside is they did actually force into that round. So other than Forrest, who has an AK, he also has a CDES he can drop to somebody else, but they're not really going to be able to get a massive amount behind this. So NRG should be able to move forward. Here is Dennis's sick couple of 1-deeks.
Yeah, that's really good work. And if he has a good game, NIP can be extremely deadly. I mean, we saw in the previous stage, Force and Rez, both a big factor of why they're able to move on. Mostly Force had a phenomenal challenger stage. Didn't go negative in a single match. His rating was always above 1.0. Get Right had some very good games as well and some resurgent performances. They'll need more of that for sure.
And just to give the people at home a chance of knowing, if you weren't watching the challenger stage, how rough this was for NiP. They beat Fury in their first game 16-6 on Raj. Then they lost to Renegades and Windstrike. NRG beat Windstrike pretty convincingly on this very map of Nuke 16-9. NiP then just about beat Vega Squadron 2-1 in the best of 3 and Vici 2-1 in the best of 3. So overall, NiP really have struggled to get a stranglehold over getting to this stage in the first place, whereas, as the desk said, NRG just breezed through. They pretty comfortably got a 3-0 in the challenges straight through to where we currently are.
They've been an impressive team, and I think one of the important stories you have to keep your eye on, if you're a viewer who's not familiar with the North American region at all and how it's played out over the year, obviously guys like Ethan, Breezy, Cirque, that's the main focal point of this story. This guy on your screen, Fugly, as well as Daps, have been in the professional scene for a number of years and haven't really been able to accomplish a whole lot. They don't have a whole lot of accolades. This kind of NRG story quietly is a little bit about Daps and Fugly being able to finally get some of those trophies, some of those placements that they've lacked in the early stages of their career, because Daps has always been known as an in-game leader. We saw him with that Optic team. He's able to bring teams to a certain level, and then he's always been removed, and those teams have found some success after his renewal, but he's never been able to get over the hump of finally getting them there. This NRG team has been his best opportunity, and he has done a phenomenal job with this NRG team, getting them prepared, having them play well, having them look good in their matches. And it's a pretty big story if you're able to finally, Daps, get into the top 8 of a major. That would be very validating for the long career that you've had.
I mean, in the NA scene, would it be fair to say that NRG are the second hope? If Liquid, for whatever reason, don't make it, NRG surely are the next in line.
I think even hope is maybe a word that don't need to be used anymore when it comes to teams like NRG and Liquid. This is not like kind of one of those things where it's like cross your fingers and hope they perform. They've showed us they can perform now. They've showed us that they can beat some of the best teams, not only in BO1s, but also in the BO3 series play as well. So for both of these teams, people are expecting top 8 out of them, which, to be fair to NRG as well, is probably a different level of expectations placed upon them.
I mean, we've had heartbreak with NRG, of course. Daps was at the last major as an analyst, not as a player. It's got a sting.
Yeah, I mean, not too much. The desk is pretty fun.
It sure is. Definitely would rather be playing though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The rest of his teammates. We do have a bit of a tech issue at the moment, which is why you're looking at the players' beautiful faces rather than the actual action. 2-1 with NRG in a pretty commanding position. Again, if you just joined us, NiP. Financially, a bit rough. They have an AK for Forest and a CZ's been dropped across to Get Right, but about $2,000 to $3,000 on the board across for NiP. So it's a bit of a head scratcher what they do from this point. I feel like probably just keeping the CZ and AK and not really investing anything else is the way forward.
He bought up armor behind it, which is, I don't mind that at all, especially a player like Forrest. You never know how he can turn around on its head with that AK-47 just tapping away at range. And I think that's about the most you can invest. Maybe some P250s if you're feeling frisky, you want to try and do a little bit more damage, but certainly Forrest is the one where you just say, you have the armor, you have the AK-47, let's see what you can do. And we'll just kind of play off that, see what happens. Tech issues are resolved. Getting underway, 4 seconds left in freeze time, and we'll be back into the action. NRG with a very, very strong arsenal in this 4th round.
Very much the opposite, could be said, of NIP, who are pretty much all going to have to get behind Forrest and hope that he can work wonders. He's trying to tap through the wall of smokes, see if he can maybe get a fortunate headshot. So much damage has been inflicted across the NRG, though. On their way down Secret, they are hemorrhaging.
Yeah, this is not good, and now NIP's been able to get down here. They've been able to set up a defense. This is not going to be an easy take, and with the damage done, these pistols get so deadly. Hoping that Get Right is forced into an aggressive play, waiting in vents. He's going to circle around. He does find Ethan, but Daps is the one who's going to be under pressure. Great response. Immediate dink. He's got to try and plant safe, but there's one right above him. He doesn't realize it just yet. Forrest with a kill with that AK-47, his 2nd of the round, and NIP have complete control of this situation.
What a turnaround this will be. AK-47's going into the hands now of NiP. Still 55 seconds, an important trade is going to go the way of Forest, and now Fugly, one of the other players you highlighted before we started this round, has this round pretty much on his shoulders. If he wants to try and clutch this, it's going to have to be a very much solo performance. Finds get right. Does finally get the man down, but now that his position is compromised and no control over the bomb, surely this round is going the way of the ninjas.
Yeah, but Rez hasn't been spotted this whole time. And you can see this is why Fugly's backing away, checking his flank. He has no idea he's also in the bomb site. Forest doesn't have to commit to a fight. He can just be a distraction. This angle for Fugly is going to be so hard to clear out. He spotted him there. There's the kill, but Forest, an immediate response. 4 kills with that salvaged AK-47 from the previous round. What a... I want to know who did the initial damage, because I think Forest was reloading. I think it was the pistols spamming through the smoke that did all that damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was pistols. Maybe the CZ that he dropped across. I think it was Get Right that had it.
Yeah.
And then later on he was in vents. Maybe he was taking some shots from A main, then pushed down vents. But yeah, I mean, the damage outside was absolutely ridiculous. This is Forest, from his perspective, the saved AK-47 used against the terrorists. And 2-2, we are all tied up, but it's going to be NRG on the force now.
We've seen NIP create something from nothing so many times in this event so far. They have an uncanny ability to win those rounds with just pistols, with just Glocks on the T side, just USPs, and that saved AK-47 came back to haunt NRG in that round. Investment, though, from NRG, not wanting to give it up early on in this offensive half. The AWP on Cirque, AK on Daps.
Just feeling their way outside at the time being. They may be deterred from going out there again after so much damage was inflicted upon them through the smoke. So instead, Cirque can have a peer out there without any nades preceding him. Meanwhile, NIP may have to repel a ramp push. Lekro, perfect position, sees a player jumping across. He's by himself by and large, so going to throw in the flashbang, just try and stall for as long as possible. Now Dennis is going to join him with smoking out ramp. So if NRG want to push, it's going to be a rough task. There's also a slight gap, so that really does help Lekro. It gives him information, lets his team know they've backed away.
Yeah, nobody has to rotate over. He has all the information of what's coming. 30 seconds left on the clock. Door's going to get blown open, but Force has been waiting for that all round. Oh my god. Sit down, NRG. Forrest, 7 kills in the last 2 rounds. A chance to get an 8th here on Ethan, who's going to pick up the AWP, but that is some stunning work with the AK-47.
He was anticipating that door to blow up. As soon as it exploded, tap.
Yes.
Right into the head. Too easy, and Ethan's not going to be able to save the AWP. So, Ninjas in Pajamas take the lead, 3-2. And their arsenal of weaponry is looking very healthy indeed.
Well, that's got to be like being splashed with cold water if you're NRG. Feeling very confident. You get returned, responded upon immediately after winning a round by just pistols and an AK, and then Forrest shuts you down again on that upper bomb site. So we'll have to see how they decide to change things. That was a very slow played round without a whole lot of pressure across the map. They only had the 2 weapons, and Lekro gonna get himself 4, goes for the ace, and why not? He wanted it. He's going to get stopped by Ethan, but damage is done, and a plant would be the best you could hope for, but I don't even know if that's a possibility for him.
He's planting a bit of an off angle at least. Not going to be able to get spotted from ramp where a player was coming down. I think it was Dennis. That's intelligent play by Ethan. And a kill plus a bomb plant with pretty much nothing invested really isn't that bad. I mean, sure, NRG, they've been under the cosh a little bit these last couple of rounds, but you have to keep into consideration, they have started pretty well. They've already got 2 rounds on the board. They can easily bounce back here.
We'll see. You'd hope. I mean, the tough part is you haven't really been getting a whole lot of kills in some of these rounds. Just 1 isn't enough to kind of diminish and take away money from NIP. Forrest is sitting at 11,000 right now. Like, there's a lot of cash built up on this NIP side, and Lekro, obviously, with these 4 kills, is going to make some money. So NRG are going to have to burn through a lot of cash on the Swedish side, but either way, still have about 8 rounds, 9 rounds left in the half to play, so they have plenty of time to recover.
Comes another timeout. NRG pondering. What will the play be? It's 3 rounds in a row now to Ninjas in Pajamas. 3 orgs, AK AWP in play. And there you go. In the challenger stage, NRG had the highest flash assist with 34%. Not too shabby at all. Doesn't really surprise me. Their teamwork has been absolutely on point.
Yeah, they have looked good. Flew through the challenger stage without too many issues. One player for NIP rotating through the lower bomb site downstairs. Dennis blind for just a half second, but that gives him the window of opportunity. Causes him to miss a shot. Two players established on the roof. Rez being patient with his peek. I think he spotted the shoulder of Daps. That's the fight he wanted, but no reason to go back and risk more when you have Dennis with the up far back. They're just going to drop it again. He's just blinded for half a second, but Force is there to bail him out again.
The flashes were excellent, though, by NRG to get so much room outside. But of course, Forrest, who else is going to be there to deliver? Ethan whiffs his spray, and Forrest will punish him. Only able to do 92 damage, should have been more. And now Breezy, 1 on 5. 50 seconds, doesn't have control of the bomb. And only a flashbang to his name. He is going to get Forrest. And now his position, very much known from the rest of the CT, trying to chip some damage across there to the back of the site where Get Right is residing. And Rez pushes up vent. Perfect timing, 5-2 lead.
Yeah, 2 kills for Force in the round. He's starting to have a monster half, and that is got to be worrying if you're NRG. He's 10-2 at the moment, 7 rounds in. And he's covering everything. The upper bomb site, he's covering the outside cross, he's covering the outside aggression, as you can see here. He has been very mobile across the map, making sure he's involved in all the action. Tactical timeout, I believe, for NRG.
Some more good news as well for Ninjas. Lecro having another solid performance, 122 ADR.
Helps when he had that 4-man spray down in ramp room for full HP unarmored Glocks to really help boost your stats. But yeah, certainly, that's the thing. I mean, you kind of, Force you've been really able to rely on. Rez is obviously a player that they kind of rely on to have solid performances. Get Right has been at an increased level, but if one of Dennis and Lecro just shows up, if just one of them kind of comes into play, then you should be pretty fine if you're the Ninjas. This is not a tactical timeout, this is actually a technical pause. We are having a PC replace quickly on stage, shouldn't take too long, and we have SSDs, so that's always fun.
Should be lightning quick. In terms of the rest of the group so far, on the B stream, we had FaZe, another team that's up there. Similar to NaVi, we weren't sure what to expect. They absolutely blitzed Hellraisers.
They did. I know there was a decent amount of people who had some kind of hope of Hellraisers in this Legend stage, but FaZe made them look a little bit silly, didn't they? 16-4.
Yeah, I actually was kind of surprised. I said to you afterwards, wait, hold on a second, it's only 2-1. And then we realized, nope, the previous match was just over that.
Yeah, they really ran through that second game. They have Liquid versus Avant-Garde going on right now on the B stream as well, and that is Liquid down
9-8.
9-8.
Wow. A Vanguard team that I know a lot of people put 0 for 3, which I found was a bit, I don't know, I wasn't on board. I thought Vanguard may take a map or two, but I definitely did not expect them to be leading against Liquid.
Yeah, that's, I mean, Liquid is a team, especially that you know, obviously coming into this rank number 2 in the world, and obviously ranked that also by the teams in the seeding. A lot of people having Liquid as one of the dangers to win the major next to Astralis. Wouldn't that be a shocker?
It would, but to put it in context, the Vanguard are now on the T side, I believe.
Yes.
And they got an 8-7 lead. So actually Liquid got 7 rounds in their T half.
That's not too shabby.
So yeah, it's 9-8. It looks a bit shaky, but the best is yet to come for Liquid, you'd expect at least. In terms of the match that we're currently on, haven't had too many rounds to play with, but NIP have certainly been in fine form. They've strung together quite a few rounds now in a row. It's 4 after winning the pistol. And only 1 defuse. That's going to be a bit of a worry for NRG. They haven't been able to really get close to the bombs. And that was the round that Ethan was in a 1v4 with a pistol, I think, and just got the quick plant down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been, Force has just been able to shut him down. I think there were 2 rounds where he had like 7 kills across those 2. So, I mean, that's the problem. When he's such a force like this, it is very difficult because you've seen him be super mobile across the map. And also, I think that that round of him standing in front of the door, that one feels scouted by NIP. You don't see a whole lot of players just stand in front of that vent pre-aiming at the door like that. But the fact that he knew it, he just fires shots as soon as the door blows open before he even sees anyone through the nade smoke.
Yeah, I mean, and Forrest seem almost omnipresent at this stage because he's also been the player that's been chunking them down through the smoke wall outside. Yeah, he's had kills squeaky outside. I think he's also been in heaven a couple of times.
He's kind of a freak of nature, Forrest.
Sure is, especially when he's on form, which is, I think, one of the main conditions that a lot of NiP fans out there that were putting them to get through to the next stage, the last 8, a lot of it does come off the back of Forrest. If he has a rough stage here, it's unlikely to see the Ninjas progress.
Yeah, he has been a driving force, which has been crazy. This is a team where the roster changes on AP. You know, for some time it appeared they wanted to get a little bit of new, fresh blood in there.
What do we make of Dennis then? Because this is a guy, when he joined NiP, I myself was really hype about it. I thought, oh, this is great. This is the piece of the puzzle they've been missing. And I've got to say, and agree or disagree with me, I'll be very curious, he has been a bit disappointing since he joined NiP.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a good answer for you on that one because I think a lot of people feel that way. It just seems like he hasn't been as comfortable as he necessarily was in towards the end of his time in Fnatic. But still think there's some time for him to kind of turn it around. Although I'm not entirely sure what it'll be. But certainly it's not having the impact his addition that people thought it would right at the start. So that's really unfortunate for the NIP side of things. But you can see we've seen him have some good games, and you can really tell like what he can bring to the table if he's having that good performance.
Yeah, it sort of flashes in the pan. I mean, we saw it in this game. His only 2 kills were those 2 Deagle frags.
Yep.
That really weakened the economy of NRG, allowed NiP to capitalize on it, but apart from that, he's been pretty absent.
It's also one of the kills that got Forrest the AK-47 that allowed them to win the next round.
There you go. But
that doesn't show up in the stat sheet.
It doesn't. The impact is there. But the fact of the matter is, we're about to hit into round 8. He's got 30 ADR and he's got 2 kills with no assists. That could be a bit of an issue. But on the other side, there's only a certain amount of kills out there. Forrest has been collecting a bunch of them.
I think the worrying thing is these last, 2-3 rounds for NIP, even 4 rounds, to be honest with you, this 4-round streak they've been on hasn't felt like there's been a whole lot of opportunities for NRG. They haven't really had a whole lot of production. I mean, the last 3 rounds, they've only gotten 2 kills, which is worrying.
Which is certainly another reason why when you look at the economy of NiP, you can't see it on your screen, but Forrest, just shy of $12,000, Rez 9.2k, Get Right 7.7k, and Dennis 7.6k. It's only Lekro that's quite low on funds. Everyone else is booming. So yeah, that'll do it. If the T's aren't taking weapons away from you, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
And I think if NRG goes on to lose this, I think a lot of the conversation, you saw the tweet from Rugga, former coach of some of the Danish squads, saying, weird map choice. And I know, that was also something echoed by Sean in the pre-match. We are getting word that the PC is fixed, just waiting on everyone to be readied up and reset all the money and everything like that, and we're going to be right back into it in just a couple moments. I don't know about you, Vince, my predictions today are going horribly. I went for some home runs.
You struck out.
Struck out real bad.
That's pretty much as much as I know about baseball. That's my analogy.
Is home runs and striking out?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. It's probably the worst sport in the world. Not gonna lie to you. I say that as a red-blooded American.
Well, mine are going pretty well. I think I'm actually everyone's correct so far. Must be nice.
Must be real nice. We're back into the action. Scout on Ethan. And just pistols across the board, a little bit of utility. Great shot from Ethan. That's a headshot onto Dennis. He's down. Rez is going to back away without his support structure. But don't worry, Forrest has arrived.
And he pretty much counts for 5 players on his own right now. So NRG will be tough pressed to get anything else from this round. Does get a little tasty tag through the wall though onto Get Right. But with it just being the scout, hits him for about 50 health. That's really all I can hope for. The Hail Mary play like that, not far off connecting on Rez, but the Org is oh so strong at these kind of ranges. Oh, so is the Deagle though.
Yeah, when you connect this shot, the Deagle, you can really feel it. Nice one from Breezy. Still a long way to go. Either way, even if they lose this round, this is a very good start for them to kind of grind that economy away. And Breezy, he's done it again. Lekro falls. Forrest still yet to get into the action, but you can see he wants it.
It is the 2 veterans left. How many times have they been in situations like this? Hundreds, and Breezy is going to pick up a third single-handedly, taking this round away from the ninjas. Get Right's found himself some prey behind Silos, and Breezy with a 4K. That is a phenomenal round.
Yeah, that's pretty unreal. You're not going to get that every single time, but NRG needed a little bit of life, a little bit of wind in their sails, and obviously Breezy has delivered in a big way. Those deagle shots are things of beauty. And obviously Forrest not expecting him to have the AWPs, going for that peek in towards Mini, not realizing the op's been picked up. And Breezy's hyped.
That's just absolutely sick. Out of nowhere, carving a masterpiece of a round and NRG back into winning ways. We're talking about how good the finances for NIP were looking. They're still going to have some money in the reserve, but that's a good way of cutting it in half. Rez now going to play just on the outskirts of the smoke, decides to back away, tossing a nade up towards Silos, not going to hit anybody. And here come the counteractive nades. Ethan smoking over. Going to be blocking off A main. Rez has been Molotov'd out of position, so he's going to have to think twice, and he still gets chunked down to 42, burning alive. They've also smoked lockers, which is really important because now it isolates Rez from the rest of his team, and Forrest can't have the same level of impact as he has rounds prior. Lekro going to move in a position that Rez was last seen in the previous round, is going to get the better of Ethan, perforates his head, and does give the ninjas a chance, a glimmer of hope.
Really cool utility in towards those windows to allow that push from Ethan. Unfortunately, Lekro shuts him down and then hustles back to ramp room. Closes off that avenue of attack. It's Forrest again, who looks like he'll be called upon. Lekro still fighting at ramp room. He goes down. It's all on Forrest, the lower bomb site. He has to stop this hit. Flashbang out, but he's going to spin around. He wants to give the appearance that he's defending stairs and catch these ramp players off guard. Here he is off angle there. Headshot into the cleanup, and he's going to get another one. Forrest continues to deliver. And it's just Cirque. It looked good for NRG, but they've been ground down and have no more mistakes to give in this one. And Forrest again gonna catch Cirque completely off guard. Triple kill in the round from Forrest.
It just makes you smile to see someone playing this well.
Yeah.
It gives us as older guys a bit more happiness, because he's...
You calling me old?
I am. I'm certainly old.
No, Forrest is one of those players that I think everyone in the Counter-Strike scene collectively just enjoys seeing play well. Also very frustrating because he makes it look so easy.
13 and 3. ADR through the roof, well over 120 for Forrest. And this is off the back of NRG winning that incredible round off Breezy, but Dennis and Forrest going to chip in for the first kills. Bomb's been dropped alongside 3 NRG players, make it 4. And unless Daps can pull off a kill, it's going to be another clean sweep. 7-3, what a way to bounce back.
Forrest is, it feels like Forrest is about to just deliver this map to NIP. This is a disgusting performance we're seeing out of him so far. That is a rush to the squeaky door that doesn't even get started. When the first kill goes to Dennis and the second goes to Forrest, you just no longer have the manpower to go through, especially when all the nades and all the smokes are in NRG's faces as well.
So more of a half buy. Well, actually, not even that. Just the deagle. Smoke and flashbang allowing them to buy in the next round. It's going to be a double stack in garage. Dennis with the org alongside Rez. They also have another player just ahead of them. And who else but Forrest? He is everywhere. Cirque's going to land a 1D, but he's quickly retorted by Rez. Looking like another Ninjas in Pajamas round, and another pretty comfortable one. Bomb dropped in an awkward position. Daps is going to give some more life yet to this round, though. The deagle has been the Achilles heel of the Ninjas so far, but it's not going to strike anymore. Forrest, of course, with another 3.
He's just having an incredible game. Yeah, those deagles seem to be the most reliable piece of success on this map so far for NRG on this T side. They had that one nice round with the AKs, but since then, it's been all the deagles.
Looks so crisp for Forrest at this stage. The Lack of buy, though, Jason, is going to get NRG 4 AKs and a Galil in this round.
Right, but they need to start putting some rounds on the board. Economic damage is going to, you know, the importance of that is going to diminish as this goes on. We're already in round 12, and NRG don't have a whole lot to show for it. 7 of the last 8 have gone to the Ninjas, gone to the Swedes, and barely any fight back from NRG. Looks like we want to travel to the upper bomb site again. Ethan and Fugly lining up in lobby. Or excuse me, Ethan's outside. That'd be Breeze, Cirque, and Daps inside. And here's Forrest. He can spray as well with the double kill, and before anyone else even gets involved, the round's actually almost over before we can even switch over to the action.
In this stage for NRG, surely you just call a timeout. You just try and get something going your way. Halt down the momentum, because this is just snowballing down the hill. This is gathering speed. It's not slowing down anytime soon. They don't have great finances to supplement the timeout, but just do something. Try and change it up. I mean, look at that. It's a flood of CT rounds.
I'm not even looking at the rounds. I'm looking at 20 and 4 with like 130 ADR. This is insanity.
NRG do have a lone teammate downstairs on the doorway. That's going to be Ethan with a Glock. Has just given his position away.
It's all right, he's kind of a distraction at the moment. So what they're hoping is that the ramp player rotated downstairs so that they could actually get into ramp room. The problem with that is a smoke blocked their path, and then a Molotov, and then another smoke. The rotation from NIP was just too strong, and Rez knows exactly what's happening. He's reading this round. He's going to have a flank in, but it's going to be another chance for Forrest and Get Right to pad their stats. Get Right can't do it. Forrest is up, and why not peek? You've been so good. There's 2. Can't complete any more than that, but this flank is going to shut it all down before any real danger occurs. Cirque is going to get aggressive. He knows he has a one-on-one here, but he can't win it with the CZ. NIP's in double digits.
You sure are. Not all is lost, though. For now, G can bounce back, get the final 2 rounds going their way. A 10-5 half wouldn't be bad on T side, but I mean, as you've highlighted, because of how one-sided these rifle rounds have been, it almost seems like an impossible feat for them to actually pull that off. Timeout does come in from NRG. We're making some decisions. There is an SG picked up for Ethan, suggests he may go outside with it.
I think that's one thing that NRG hasn't been able to do, and part of that is because Force has been so mobile. But when Force hasn't been outside, they've actually had a pretty decent amount of success at taking it. The problem is, I mean, pretty much whoever Forrest is, you're going to lose 2 players, it feels like. But NRG, without being able to establish that success outside, they've also, because of with the money situation that they've been in, they haven't been able to have the AWP on Cirque too much, which they obviously would like to have. But this map, the success on your T side of Nuke always stems from how effective you can be in the outer yard.
Some nades have been thrown in, doesn't connect, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think Cirque has had an AWP kill. He's had it a couple of times. Don't think it's been super valuable. He's only on 5 kills as it stands with 41 ADR. But let's see, because he's such a talented AWPer.
I think he's even had like 2 or 3 kills with Deagles, so he's been relatively quiet on top of everything.
For sure. Should be one hell of a time for him to awaken, though. He really hasn't got out of first gear as it stands, neither have NRG. A lot of that has been down to the blockade that is Forest. Some early damage inflicted, but it's across to the terrorists in the form of Fugly. Rez this time perching at the back of Garage. He's typically been the player that's rotated either secret Garage or outside. So keeping his position unknown to the oncoming terrorists.
They're giving Cirque so much time, but they're not equipping him with enough support for him to aggressively try and find a kill with that op. They're hoping that NIP is going to peek and make a mistake. And because of that, because of the fact that NIP hasn't, oh, what great timing as well. Goes for the follow-up, almost lands Ethan as well, but that's heartbreaking. NRG gave Cirque like 40 seconds to find a pick, and no one from NIP peeked him, and now it's disaster. Up above, Get Right has no idea it's coming. That's going to be frustrating. The upper bomb site is actually pretty susceptible for NRG.
It is. It's going to be a bomb plant, and they have control over Heaven, but Lecro starting to make a move through Hut. Thinks better of it, waiting for the cavalry to arrive. Forest has been bested. This is NRG's chance. They're not going to get better opportunities than this. A 3-on-3 retake. There are a couple of nades in play. Lecro's going to find Breezy, but he does come out second best. And now Dennis and Rez going to try and retake this. Going to smoke off Squeaky. Flash to the back of sight. And now Rez going to make a move in. It's an even trade, leaving it on Dennis. He's picked up one, but there's Ethan. And NRG do stop the 5-round slaughter spree from NRG.
Yeah, NRG, that's a pretty nice take, all things considered. I mean, that's a 3-on-5 that they just win, and all because, despite some of the kills, a little bit of miscommunication from the NIP side. No one had eyes outside. No one had eyes on Heaven. Getright gets taken down for free, and there's no one else to hold on to that bomb site. Forrest, for the first time in this half, had a disadvantage in a fight because he was coming out of the vents. NRG need this 5th, though. 10-4 in the favor of NIP. A little bit of pressure applied inside, but Molotov's in every choke point and Breezy's forced away. There's Rez opening kill onto Ethan. That's outside. He can back away with the man advantage. No ops for either team either.
It really does seem like NRG, even in rounds they've won, have conceded the first kill or two. It's constantly NIP on point. You can see the effect it has on NRG again. They're really forced on the back foot, can't really afford to play aggressively. Don't have anyone downstairs. Rez is there again, 14-7, 87 ADR. Locking it down beautifully. If he does peek up here, I think Daps is aiming right at his head. So this would be a great start, but Daps has missed out on his chance. It's a bit of information, but desperately needed to get that kill if they wanted to turn the round back in their favor.
Yeah, Rez he knows better than to retake that fight, so he's gonna back off. Dennis is watching outside from lockers. And Fugly gonna start working towards ramp, but he's all alone. Gonna be joined by Breezy. 35 seconds. If they want to try and go downstairs, Lecro can just go hide in the site, and he can have rotations, because remember, Rez is going to be there as well, but Lecro's going to get the first. A flashbang comes in as well. That's beautiful teamwork from Dennis and Lecro, and now there's really no chance. 20 seconds. NIP don't even have to fight. They can wait until the bomb is attempted to be planted. Lecro knows there's one above him. He's been spotted. His teammate is here as well, but Falling Circa's going to get the kill. He's the only one left.
Has to try and draw out one of the players through the doors. They just smoked. Will not happen. What a half on CT side from NIP. 11-4 in the lead.
Dominant opening half from NIP and from Forrest. 22 kills, 6 deaths, and it felt like he was involved in so much of the action and was close to unstoppable. Pretty rough half for NRG, but 4 rounds, they have a bit of breathing room, the smallest amount of breathing room. We know Nuke can be CT-sided. They can make this comeback happen, but they need their stars to show up.
That's exactly it, Jason. They've got to be telling themselves, look, CT side of Nuke, we can easily go on our own spree. We can easily get ourselves into contention. But again, it feels like we're a broken record. But that's just simply how good Forrest has been playing. If we can turn up this much on the T side, it may not be enough for NRG.
Oh, well, I mean, the crazy thing is, like, you don't even have to have that level of performance. It's like, if you're Forrest and you just give an opening kill, sometimes that's the only window of opportunity you need. Here we go. Breezy inside, get right. Gonna mess with his mind a little bit. Make him worried, keep his attention there, but they're gonna cross outside. Great shot from Rez and Lekro. Onto Cirque, which has gotta be frustrating. He barely had a chance to get involved in the first half.
Yeah, it's very true. He's just been so neutralized. Here's Breezy point blank. Rez, insta headshot again. Hasn't lost a single point of health from his opening 2 picks. And now it's up to Ethan to try and lock this down. Trying to buy up enough time for Daps to get in position. But there again is Forrest. This time with a P250. Can Ethan land anymore? No. Get Right's going to shut him out. This is looking very precarious for NRG now. Fugly in a 1-on-4 has got himself to first, but he's been spotted in heaven. And with the post plant, his days surely are numbered.
Ooh, Fugly saw the, I think he saw the leg there a little bit. But yeah, I guess all you can really do if you're Fugly, try and save that kit. You could go for a retake and upper, but I don't know if he's entirely sure that Get Right is there. He finds the headshot, he's gonna go back for it, but there's just no time. Just back off, and I think the craziest thing about this game so far is sneakily, Rez is having one of his games where he's having massive impact for NIP, and the only reason we haven't talked about it much is because Force in that first half was so unbelievable, but Rez is right up there. 19 kills, 7 deaths for him. A little bit of cleanup there, the help from Lekro, but the rest of this is all him.
Excellent work, and he was also a player that was outside, which can be a really rough position, especially from a team like NRG that are super solid when it comes to their tactical play and their utility. He's holding in the line on Garage time and time again, playing on the red container up close, keeping it varied. But that was one of the win conditions for NRG, was to win the second pistol. It's gone begging, and now they are in serious trouble. They're pretty much going to need this round, in my opinion. Otherwise, this is looking like it's gone too far.
Yeah, NIP just 4 rounds away from taking their opening map of IEM Katowice. Plenty of players outside, 4 of them going to come through their smokes. Damage onto Rez, that's a good start for NRG. That's the scout of Cirque.
Yeah, but he can't stand and finish off what he started. They're going to give mid control up completely. This is allowing the ninjas now to get up into heaven. Dennis finds himself Cirque. Mounts the pressure further yet than the rest of NRG. Ethan can hear the pit-patter of footsteps above him, plus the detonation of a flashbang. He knows they're in heaven at this stage, but there's not much he can do about it. Breezy gonna try and play aggressively, see if he can maybe alleviate some of the pressure before it fully mounts as a crossfire established, but Get Right, even though he's completely caught out in the open, still does a bunch of damage. Breezy's gonna get a second. It's a 3-on-3 with 30 seconds left. NRG have a chance.
A very small one, very little HP on Breezy and a shotgun on Fugly. Not the weapons you'd want, not the HP you'd want to make this retake happen. Gonna swap some guns around. High HP players take priority, but Forrest is just lying in wait. He hasn't been involved yet. That's gonna be an easy one. Flushes out his position though. They now realize, but Lekro inside the site can distract. Forrest does go down and Fugly's got 2. All of a sudden it's just Lekro who's digged it. Fugly's gonna get it. The final kill comes out. NRG gonna stay alive just barely. 3 kills for Fugly.
But the nightmare is that losing 4 players, they're not going to have a huge amount to play with in the next round. I'm pretty sure Fugly can get his hands on the Galil that was dropped behind the site. There we go, he's just picked it up. And can drop his CZ to somebody else, but it's not going to be a fantastic buy. The question is, do NIP want to go in for this? Their economy's also rough. Do they want to hold back and say, okay, NRG, fair enough, you've got some weapons in here? Or do they want to press the issue?
I would say on a map like Nuke on your T side, when you're up 12-5, I would say a little, I prefer a little bit conservative. They're buying up a couple deagles now, which means, you know, at the most it'll probably be a half investment. Wait till you get those AKs out to properly fight. These deagles, if you still just get like, you know, 2 kills out of them in this round, that'd be perfect. Force rebuys, keep money low on most of the players from NRG. They're gonna likely find out that there's an AWP in play. And when you get those AK-47s, you can really punish. But if you went for a full buy here and lost it, that just allows NRG to build up way too much money. They'd start having all the Molotovs for the choke points.
Ooh, Cirque actually comes out second best. It's really not been his day. Ryan's going to eat MP9 bullets to the head, drop to 20. Molotov keeps them at bay, allows Daps to now recover and relocate. That will be a worrying sign for me if Cirque, who is one of the star players for NRG, just doesn't show up on this second stage. He's an integral part of NRG.
I mean, if you look at the history of NRG, I think part of it is just so many. They've had to actually go through all the learning experiences. They haven't been able to just like skip any of the stages, right? Like they first, you know, they had that great star ladder at the start of last year. And then they kind of struggled in the IEM Sydney qualifiers. They were kind of bounced out of those. And then they struggled in the major qualifiers. Now they're in the major. They breezed through the first stage. And now, you know, another learning experience. You get, you know, to where the best teams and the best players have been here before. They know how to deliver. They know how to perform and remain calm. And NRG's kind of got to learn that on the fly.
That's a good point. I suppose it depends how quick they are to learn this. And looking at players like Circuit, important to mention, the guy hasn't been around forever. He hasn't been around for a huge amount of time. Still picking up things as he goes along. But in terms of this match, 12-6, NRG do weather the storm, but as a result, the more conservative buy, we are going to have some AK-47s and a UMP in play for NIP. So that pressure about to be turned up once again. It's looking like a faster approach here. Cirque has to instantly retreat, giving outside control across. That Molotov gonna get extinguished instantly from the smokes, and already NIP far quicker down into secret than we saw NRG on the flip side.
I don't think Daps is gonna want to stand and fight. He's gonna drop that Molotov and back away, but the SMG not gonna be too helpful in this situation. He spotted the shoulder, another Molotov comes out. NIP don't want to press the issue. They're fine being patient. I still don't think NRG has spotted exactly how many of NIP is out here. This is a pretty nasty crossfire, though, for NRG to set up.
Using the Shroud of Smoke to move in position. Daps with the MP9 alongside Fugly. Perfect timing. Catches Forrest and Dennis in a horrible spot, sandwiched between NRG. A bomb will be getting planted in amongst the smoke, but it's all about how well can they hold on. Get Right is going to do his absolute best to now start to pincer around towards heaven, see if he can get around the back of ramp if he can. Cirque could be a goner. He hasn't quite got into close enough proximity. Rez is really playing this one perfectly. He's going to survive as long as possible, see how many players he can line up. He's going to find them two, sprays both down. Rez, flawless play. And now gives a great opportunity across the Ninjas in Pajamas. The bomb can be defused behind the silo, and that's probably going to be the determining factor. Excellent attempt by Rez. He's taking down everybody alongside. That is going to hurt NRG. But it's not enough to stop the defuse. Yeah, a round win is fine for NRG. They're going to be happy to take that away. And likewise, NIP is going to be happy to get all the players eliminated, even in a losing effort. Tough area to stop that plant, but great play from Rez. This is pretty much the best play he could have made if they wanted a chance to win that. If he takes that kill onto Cirque right when he sees him, it's all over. They know where he is. They can train their sights on it, but that plant just doesn't let NIP really fight for this round. Definitely deserves the pat on the shoulder.
But look at what it's done. Fugly, $0 after this buy. Cirque, $50 after this buy. Breezy is only at 500.
And with the bomb plant, NIP still have plenty of money to use. It's not going to be the greatest of buys, but it does put them in this round, and Rez now going to have the AWP again. Ninja's pretty versatile when it comes to their AWPers. So this map's still on a razor's edge. Anybody's game. NIP certainly have the advantage, but if NRG can take this round down and make it theirs and get it comfortable, things will certainly be looking a lot brighter. Cirque's woes continue. He's not really been able to get in any position to strike.
No, but actually, he's dropped down. So NIP throws those same smokes from the last round. Now it's just Dennis. So actually, the AWP has been pulled out of, not out of position, but it's been pulled to the part of the attack that has the least players on it. Dennis, as long as he doesn't go down here, you can see him shoulder peeking a little bit too far. Cirque's gonna find it, but the other bomb site is under attack, and Breezy has two. Ethan with another from on top of the hut. And the AWP from NIP not able to get involved.
Excellent spray transfer too from Breezy in the secret, or squeaky room, pardon me. And now Rez, who nearly pulled off an unbelievable play in the round prior, is pretty much just resorting to trying to save this orb. If he can take some players down with him, then all the better for it, but he's going to back away towards T-spawn. There's still 45 seconds. This does give Nip, of course, a chance to almost call a bit of a timeout in this stage, just kind of discuss over what's going to happen in the next round.
Yeah, talk things over. It'll be a 4-round losing bonus as well, so I mean, Forrest, Get Right, and Dennis will have the money to be able to invest. They'll be right on the edge if they want to go that route. It might be another half buy around this AWP. But this defense from NRG is starting to look good, and they have the funds to back it up. Every time they've lost a player, they've been able to have a full buy immediately afterwards, which is the nightmare for T-sides on Nuke. This isn't over yet. And if you're NIP, you win the pistol round in this half, you go up, what, 12-4. It is going to be devastating if you lose this map. Equally, it will be extremely impressive, and I think it'll just be another thing we discuss of how impressive this young NRG team is if they're able to establish a comeback like that, because they seemed out of it on an individual level in that first half.
Yeah, great tenacity if they can bounce back from here. As we said before, as long as they keep themselves relatively close in this second half on the CT side, anything is possible. Because remember that the first half started poorly for the Ninjas as well, and they ended up winning 9 out of 8 rounds. Great end to the first half. Very much the same could happen here. But Nip, after the tactical timeout, going to be coming right in. Pretty aggressive outside, but Ethan's going to find himself one. Get Right's been finished off elsewhere by Daps, but it's only Rez that counteracts. Here comes Ethan through the smoke. And the Ninjas have been torn to pieces. What a shot that is by Rez. That was through the wall.
Yeah, the garage door out there. Not bad at all, but he finds himself in a 1-on-3. Bomb is in lobby, and it's being covered. He's never going to expect that. Great positioning from Breezy. 12-9 now, the gap has closed. And this time, NIP cannot force up anything. They can't go for any kind of a purchase. They just don't have... Oh, excuse me. I'm going to take all of that back as I see the buy on Dennis coming out. That was bought very quickly.
You know, Jason, though, I agree. I'm not too sure about this buy.
I don't know if that I mean, here's the thing. It could have been a misbuy. It could have just been like a frustration. Dennis just snap buys an AK-47 when they didn't necessarily want to call that. But also, it could be Dennis, one person full buy, everyone else half buy, and you have at least one rifle that you can deal with that can provide an entry, and everyone else has the utility.
Downside, though, is if Nip concede this round and comfortably, NRG are in very good shape, economically speaking. 10 rounds, the psychological boost that will give. And downstairs, Nip will move once again. They've got here a couple of times already. Seems quite easy to do so. NRG happy to give this up because they're playing more passively with Daps on the site, just on the railings. But no one's watching the staircase from below. This is a lot of information, a lot of real estate that Nip are getting quickly into the round.
Yeah, this is very cool from NIP. Daps gonna have a tough job to do. He's hearing the footsteps. You can start to see the ramp players on the minimap rotating down as they appear on the lower sites minimap. Rez hasn't spotted anything just yet. That deadly AUG trained, but Fugly's called back to watch ramp room allow Cirque with the op. Get Right, as always, lurking, but this time Breezy gets the better of him.
There's Cirque threading the shot just through the slight gap. Looking to vanquish all the oncoming terrorists. It's been pretty straightforward so far for NRG in round 22. Just shy of 30 seconds. Time dwindling away. Rez does have an AK-47. Maybe he can put it to good use. You've been playing very well so far. They're going to get a bomb plant, if nothing else, out of this round. And it also shifts the dynamic of the round. Now it's the CTs that have to engage. Now it's the CTs that have to look for those entries back onto the site. Rez playing up close, trying to use the off angle, gets the first, oh, and the second, spinning around, somehow still alive, leaving Ethan in a one-on-one now against Forrest. Breezy was caught from the backside. The bomb planted for Forrest. He can stop this and delay it. Surely not. NRG are going for the full defuse. Forrest can see it, comes around the corner and clutches around. Rez, though, deserves to take a bow. He was phenomenal.
That is all Rez. Forrest with the deagle just turns into a lurk in the vents. Never cleared out, never found, but Rez close up. Those 2 kills are phenomenal, and you have to say, you could almost feel that turning towards NIP. A 2-on-4 situation, but if anyone was going to win it, it would be Forrest and Rez. Rez has actually overtaken Forrest. He's got 28 kills, 11 deaths. Forrest 26 and 12. Those 2 players have been phenomenal throughout this whole map. And that's an incredible performance, and you can see there, PETA talking to the team, a tactical pause, a timeout. They know it's so important to string these rounds together. Just one more time. They've had it a couple times in the second half where NRG is on the point of being broken in terms of their money, and if NIP is able to break them here, that's almost the map in itself.
How heart-wrenching must that be for NRG? You set up defensively, you lull them into a false insecurity, you have them where you want them, and then Rez just strikes and picks up 2 or 3 kills and the round's done. Now they've depleted most of their funds. It's only really Daps that has anything in reserve. So this could be the map deciding round.
Yeah, this is huge in the context of this game. Daps far back outside. Breeze and Ethan in upper. Cirque over towards lockers.
Again, it would seem that the ninjas in pajamas are going to get a lot of maneuverability outside and not really being repelled at this stage. I think there was a player in garage, which is going to be Daps. But he's been Molotov down, has to hold the tight angle instead. This is giving up and yielding a lot of pressure. The smoke is cleared. These are shots that Cirque would normally be landing. These are shots he has to land. Meanwhile, though, he's going to get digged out or dug out of the deep ditch from Ethan and Daps coming to his rescue. That is definitely a worrying sign. Daps comes out with another one, leaving Get Right in 1-on-5. Any damage would be welcome for the Swedes. Won't be happening. It's another clean sweep. But yeah, man, Cirque missing shots like that does make me a bit nervous.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't make you too nervous in this map specifically. Obviously, it'd be much nicer to have him hitting those shots, especially when there's no smoke, no flashbang in his face. But I mean, outside of the previous round, this has been a great half from NRG. Their defense is looking very, very solid on Nuke. So if you're hoping for a comeback win from NRG in this, it's looking very, very nice for them. They did lose the pistol, but ever since then, it's been a 6-1 run. Pretty commanding run for NRG. And now they have an easier time of things. It's just pistols for the ninjas. They're going to go fast-paced. These Augs should be able to chew them up. No passageway in towards mini garage. Even the weaponry in the upper bomb site is ringing out. Get Right, the only one left, and somehow he's made it here.
Should be able to get the drop onto Fugly. If he plays his cards right. Oh, Fugly spins around and will get him. Unfortunate. Maybe Get Right was thinking about a knife. Not entirely sure. I mean, the Glock at that range sucks anyway, let's be honest.
Yeah, he knew that wasn't going to be a winning fight at that range.
Yep.
He was going to get closer. 13-11 now. NRG have closed the gap in a big way to just 2 rounds.
At one stage, 12-4. Now NRG breathing down the necks of Nip. Anybody's match. Gonna make sure that the Molotovs are in. Double stack outside of Hut. And now making a move to Squeaky. First kill though of round 25 will go the way of Fugly.
That's through a smoke as well. That's the last thing that NIP wanted. They're trying to set up a fake outside with the smoke wall. And losing a player just makes it so much harder to make NRG feel any kind of pressure.
Pressure now being applied as NRG feel constricted on the A side, but there's nothing following it up. They're actually making a move into ramp instead where Fugly will double up his kills. and he hasn't lost a single point of health. This is a brutal start for the Ninjas. They're going to try and force their way downstairs, where Fugly is now repositioned again. He's trying to delay as long as possible. Circus made a move in. And even if Nip get to the site and get this planted, it's going to be very hard to hold on to this. There's still plenty of nades at NRG's disposal. They're not going to want to show until the entire team is in position. They still have Breezy making a move from downstairs. Circus came in with the first one. Fugly with a second. That's his third of the round, leaving Forest in a 1-on-4. This position is very good for one kill, but as soon as he gets it, he's going to be flanked by everybody else, so he won't even get one. Daps in midair, claims the headshot, and NRG draw one step closer.
Very good round for Fugly, fighting a retreating battle. First, the kill through the smoke, a little bit fortunate, a little bit of luck goes his way. The follow-up as they take ramp, he just gets one kill, falls back, waits for the rest of his team. He's always been known as a very solid, fundamental player. You wonder if there was a noise or if he saw a foot, but this one here, and then just the drop down, not worrying about taking the fight immediately after that, not sticking around. Just very, very smart play as he retreats to the lower site. NRG, this seemed so unlikely in the first half, but this CT side of Nuke is no joke. It's crazy to think that NIP have 2 players closing in on 30 kills. NRG have no players even with 20 kills. Yet they're about to tie things up.
This time Daps is going to be laid away. That Molotov is going to isolate the terrorists from one another. They decide to push through it. Force is going to eat a bunch of damage. Going to chase straight at Daps. Can the Orc hold on point blank range? You bet it can with Fugly.
Look at that communication, though. That's just Daps knowing and Fugly telling him exactly where he is, and Daps retreating, pulling them right into Fugly's crosshair. That is a very, very nice defense and a very nice rotation from Fugly to help out Daps in a tough spot.
Oh, no.
On the flip side of that coin, that was not good communication whatsoever. Rez just drilling Get Right with a Molotov. All right, 13-13.
Certainly awkward, but it was a 2-on-4 with pistols. Unlikely they'd have got anything done anyway, but yeah, 13 apiece. We could be going the full 30 rounds. I mean, surely at this stage now, momentum-wise, side-wise, you can see there how many rounds they've won. Out of the last 10, they won 9 of them.
Yeah, this is pretty nasty. You have to be feeling very sad if you're NIP. A lot of pressure, very worried, but you still have a chance. These are some of the most decorated veterans we have in Counter-Strike. Dennis, Forrest, and Get Right. They have been through so much. They have won so much. Gap in that smoke.
Yeah.
Daps is loving life. Oh, he's got great damage on the Rez, a little bit blind, so he can't complete the kill, but gonna force him right in towards Cirque. Shoulder peek baits out a shot, and he's gonna fall back again.
Gap in the smoke, though, stalled the initial push, forced a flashbang, just to pop flash their way down there, and then they don't even make real inroads down secret anyway. It's a really poor start to the round, but Forrest has made a move in. He's definitely slowed down on the second half, hasn't been afforded as many opportunities as you'd expect on the T side, but there's Forrest from the side. Ethan had no idea. Breezy was in hut, but the bombs actually dropped to his feet. Information gathered. This now forces Nick into aggressing back in there. Forrest is going to be the man to pick it up, and there is Rez 2, the 2-star top fraggers in this map. Chip together, chime in, and bring us down to another 2-on-2, and it will be a post plan.
Here we go. Best chance NIP's had in quite some time. Molotov up top. It's going to delay things just a little bit longer. Forrest would love to reposition. He has no idea where these NRG players are. Now he's going to spot the head. Great damage to Fugly. Cirque has the ult as well. They can't be aggressive, and Rez is going to finish it off. 3 kills for him, and Forrest and Rez again deliver. Time after time, keeping NIP in the lead, 14-13.
Unbelievable. Must both be around 30 kills now, right? I think they both hit the 30 bomb.
28 on Forrest, 31 on Rez.
Oh my goodness, Rez. As you say, he's just been kind of dipping under the radar for that first half. It was chugging along, and now he's definitely shifted into the upper gears.
Another timeout called here down the stretch. NRG, plenty of money. Plenty of money even behind this buy. NIP, after losing so much, it's not easy on them. to recover after NRG have tied things up. It's been hard enough for them to win rounds. Now they have to do them all against full buys. But they've finally broken the win streak of NRG. And even in victory, Get Right is relegated to a UMP. Utility in hand. Outside we go again. Dennis. This looks like the round that they kind of tried to fake a few rounds back, where Dennis solo uses that wall to cross. Molotov out to create a gap in that smoke. We saw it with Daps last round, able to get some damage. This time I don't think he spotted him. I don't think that gap was big enough for him to realize it was coming. It's going to be Fugly, I think, who is rotated down to the lower bomb site.
I think there was a little gap underneath, but the Molotov was in the way, so he didn't see his feet go across.
This is going to be nasty, though. Dennis can cause a distraction downstairs, see if Fugly panics a call and causes a rotation. But Cirque has the AWP in ramp room, and he is lying in wait. He has had a rough game, but this is his time to step up. First shot is his.
Be hard to follow up on that, though, because now there's going to be Molotovs flying his way. So he's going to have to dip out of there. This does give up ramp control. And now this is where Dennis's position becomes that much more powerful. If anyone rotates down secret, they're his. If he waits long enough, and the CT start to focus on B side, he can get in amongst the kills, and there's Rez onto Fugly. Bomb plant will follow, and Dennis, his position, now known, is able to get one.
It goes back for more, though. A little bit greedy. He's punished for it. A 3-on-3 scenario, though. And the big thing to note, Forrest and Rez still alive. Ethan's going to lead the way down ramp room, but actually Cirque and Breeze have to get into the action. He's the only one aggressing from this point. Forrest, he's getting antsy. Waiting for the peek. It's not coming just yet. He almost wants to go find the information. There's the peek. He sees one. Rez on top of the stairs is going to deliver onto Cirque. Now Breezy, it's just his head showing. Not able to get that. Lekro has a one-on-one, and the smoke clears perfectly for Breezy, but he can't do it. NIP on 15. And NRG surely have not come back all this way just to drop the ball at the end.
Oh, the fairy tale comeback may turn into a nightmare. They are going to have enough money to replenish their weapons again. But worst case scenario now for Ninja Pajamas is overtime. And that's going to be a lot of pressure off their shoulders, knowing they cannot outright lose this map anymore right now.
Yeah, I think you still feel a great amount of pressure, though, because of the comeback and because of what's so important about this match. Remember, it's not only the major, it's not only the legend stage, but it's about securing that spot in the next major as well. It's about that safety net of knowing you just don't have to go through the minor system one more time. You don't have to go through all the craziness that can happen in all those different qualifying stages. And to have such a big lead and then let it slip, let NRG even things out, that applies a certain amount of pressure of its own. It was 12-4 after the pistol round of the second half in the favor of NIP. What a fight NRG has shown.
Very impressive. The first time we've seen 2 rounds back-to-back for NIP on the T side. Can they extend to a third? If they do, they'll be 1-0 in the group stage. Kicking things off with a bang. Switching it up a little bit again. Pretty passive play. Lekro in lobby. Just waiting for a potential push. You can understand if both teams take this one slow. There's so much on the line.
Yeah.
The tension has got to be palpable right now for both of them.
And at this point, you've ran so many of your strategies and so many of your different plays. And you're trying to go through your head and remember how they've reacted each and every time and try and see if there's some way you can gain an edge. Anything you can use. Rez at 33. Forrest still not in the 30 club. He's at 28 kills. And Daps wants to get aggressive. And actually, as the smoke clears, he's got to find himself one. Can't trade over. Lekro with the immediate shutdown. Fugly's out in the open. He gets pulled out. He was in a perfect position, but he was not expecting the ramp hit. He's been great in that position throughout this half, but just drops the ball at the end.
That could be the tension getting into the back of his head. If he just held position, they'd have had ramp covered. Instead, they've lost control over B. They do have players down here, but they're at a deficit already. 20 seconds left, more than enough time to get the bomb planted. Ethan's going to wait for the rest of his team to get in. No, actually shows his hand early, but does get rewarded with the kill onto Get Right. So evens up, 3-on-3. Lekro's going to take away the equality, but then Ethan brings us back once again. Forrest and Rez, it's that duo once more that stands between NRG and a potential round win. Nip and a potential match victory. Ethan going in, using the smoke to his advantage. Forrest can't see anything. Rez gonna try and spam. Here comes Forrest. Through the smoke, gets one. Cirque's holding down the diffuser, gets it. In amongst the smoke. NRG live to fight another day.
What a miracle Cirque delivers there. Both smokes on the ground. Forrest gets a kill. He might have thought that was the diffuser. Might have also just had to reload, but couldn't continue the spam. The bomb not planted for Rez on the other side of the silo. That's heartbreaking. They didn't realize the smoke should prevent vision. They wouldn't be able to fight as NRG crosses into the site. And yeah, he probably continues those last 5 bullets if he realizes he hasn't killed the diffuser. But Cirque finding ways to help NRG. 14-15, and still these buys from NIP and wins have been sketchy. They're going to go for the uppercut and upper rush at the last round. Forrest with the entry, Lekro with the follow-up. NRG's in so much trouble.
How was that worked through? Molotovs, they took so much damage. The grenade's going to batter both Get Right and Rez, but again, it's another 3-on-4 retake. This time on A, very different circumstances. Cirque, Fogley, they're trying to chime in together. They also have daps. 3 separate angles of re-aggression. Cirque with the orc in hand. Not going to be flashed out. Spots the head of Rez. Going to be coming around the corner. There is Dennis Lade. And wait, Daps is going to get the other one, but I don't think he'll realize it's a double stack. And Lekro is going to pounce with one. Here comes Fogley with another. But the last player left alive is Get Right. Forever on the lurk. He's going to be going into heaven. Can he stop this defuse? It's not. Got a kid on him. And Nip will get it done in the 30th round. NRG must be heartbroken.
Oh, that is so crushing for NRG. They came all the way back. They recovered from that first half, but Forrest and Rez, simply too much. 33 on Rez, 31 on Forrest. Stunning from Nip. We're sending it to the desk.
Yes, the ninjas in pajamas have done it here in a way that would convince even those sold that they might go 0-3 in the pick'ems. This is not the case. They have put up a hell of a fight here, and on the backs of a great performance from Rez and Forrest. Statistically speaking, the numbers going all of their way, and ultimately this one going in the way of the Ninjas in Pajamas. Victorious here, and definitely a weight off of their shoulders.
Yeah, indeed. They won 3 out of the last 4 to actually steal this game right out of NRG's hands. It looked in the start like, you know, NIP was just going to run away with it, especially when they actually kicked off the second half with a pistol. They won both pistols in this game. And then NRG mounted this ridiculous comeback on the back of, you know, all their star players having a good game. Even Fogley, I thought, stepped up quite a bit at ramp until those last couple rounds.
I definitely agree. I think NIP as well were playing a great game. The pace of NIP also coming out on the T side here in the last